I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal for how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My family's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your man, it's Uncle Freezy. Welcome to the Knicks Morning Drive. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yo, let's get it. Let's start it off right. Let's start it off how we supposed to start it off. Right? Let's start it off how we supposed to start it off. Right? Blue tears, orange tears, Lawrence tears. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, and let's start off. Let's start off with another drink. Oh, throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you got some loot and a stick of juicy fruit, somebody say, oh yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Somebody say, oh yeah. Let's go. Let's get it. Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you got some loot and a stick of juicy fruit, somebody say, oh yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. This morning, we got some stuff to talk about. Right? We got some stuff to talk about this morning. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Join the Blowing Tears family. Let's go. Jerry Fitz is in the building. What's good? Jamie Peralta is in the building. What's good? I see you. What's good? Miss Geraldine. What's good? Jose Perez is in the building. Stafford Don. What's good? The Ghetto Intellect is in the building. D is balling. D is balling. Let's go. Chuck Allen is in the building. What's good? I'm a little bit behind right now. I'm working on something for Chuck Allen, man. That's why I'm slightly behind because I'm working on something for Chuck Allen. Let's go. Let's get it. I got all these beverages up here. I have a coffee, a cocoa, and a coffee cocoa mixture. What? I don't know. Let's go. So let's recap a little bit. I'm not getting into box scores, right? Let's recap a little bit. The Knicks came out flat. The Kings came out flatter. The Knicks figured they could win. The Knicks put the pedal to the metal. The Kings didn't put up a fight. The Knicks got up by 20. We got to see some young players get off that we normally wouldn't get off. The Knicks win. Good night. That was a recap of last night's game by Uncle Freezy. What's good? Danny Landis is in the building. What's good? I feel like I have to quote a great American poet. Who should I quote? Who should I quote this morning? Okay, we'll do the fan favorite. We'll do the favorite. In the immortal words of the great American poet, Grand Poobah. Now, a lot of people think this is easy as it looks. Books and books of rhyme concepts and hooks, session to session, to get thoughts manifested, stressing to hit the world with a blessing. Let's go. Give it up for Grand Poobah, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Grand Poobah. Right? And the reason why I quote that is because being a content creator is not easy. It's not. And you have to come up with like these things and such in order to keep the crowd rocking, in order to be number one chief rocker of the party. Especially when you don't do fancy graphics and all of that stuff, right? Let's go. So I'm going to quote one more great American poet just to let you know the plight of the Sacramento Kings. If you're a Sacramento Kings fan this morning, I have to quote the great American poet Prodigy. There is a war going on outside. No man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever from these streets we done took. You walk around with your head down, scared to look. You shook. But ain't no such things as halfway crooks. Give it up for Prodigy, ladies and gentlemen. Rest in peace. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. You can only go build in one direction. You can only build a franchise, a championship caliber franchise, going in one direction. Clearly, the Knicks are trying to do two at once. Right? The Knicks are trying to do two at once. And here is how I know this. I saw Emmanuel quickly grab a long rebound and race the other way. He looked to his left. There was a guy, a perimeter defender. Did I say left? He looked to his right. This is right for me. This is right for me. This is right for me. This is my right hand. He looked this way to his right, and there was a young guy hustling on the wing. He looked to his left, nobody. The defense stepped up. He looked to his right, and there was that same young guy. He looked to his left. He looked to his left. There was Cam Reddish. Out of the blue, a 6'8" wing player showed up, sprinted, hauling butt. So he give it to Cam to please the crowd. Cam get fouled. Cam go knock down his free throws. What this tells me is Cam Reddish is special. This doesn't tell me that Cam Reddish is fast, because there are a lot of fast, athletic guys in the NBA at 6'8" and 22 years old. Or are there? I think there's the irony. I think there is a war going on outside no man is safe from. You can run, but you can't hide forever. Those are the words of the great American poet Prodigy. I saw with my own eyes in a terrible game, by the way. In a terrible game. I wish I could unwatch it. I saw the kids take over. I legit just saw last night, follow me. I saw the kids take over last night. I saw Julius Randle score the most vanilla points a veteran can score. But he was efficient. He played good. He was a cheeseburger last night. But I saw a young guy score 2 points, and the team was excited. I saw youthful exuberance last night. I saw energy, and dare I say, I saw young NBA players having fun. And don't tell me all young NBA players have fun. Don't come at me with that. Because I looked at Sacramento and I saw a young NBA team not having fun. And they were playing kids. So don't come at me with that, Uncle Freezy be trying to just make up stuff all the time. I don't want to hear it. Be smart. Be smart and listen. Because nobody knows it all. But a lot of people know some. And I know something about what I saw last night. I saw one young NBA team destined for the lottery playing the kids, and they were not having fun. Versus another young NBA team with no direction, but was having fun playing together. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I had a gent on the panel yesterday, right? Deep Poetic, and I broke down how I felt like the front office was fractured some, and it's causing analysis paralysis by analysis when you have different voices in your ear trying to tell you what's the right thing to do. I was trying to teach that young fellow how if he hang with Uncle Freezy, he'll always be right and he'll always have dope takes. That's what I'm trying to teach him right now. He's sharp now. Don't get it twisted. He's sharp. He's sharp. Razor sharp. Matter of fact, I'm trying to keep him away from the run-of-the-mill Knicks universe people. I don't want them dulling him and telling him that he can't be smart, sharp 100% of the time. Sometimes you got to be Phil Donahue. No, you never have to be Phil Donahue. You can be Jerry Springer. Trust. Jerry Springer was on the air a lot longer than Phil Donahue and Montel and all those other talk shows. Jerry Springer's run rivaled Oprah Winfrey, the gold standard. Here's the thing I'm getting at. I told him yesterday that there are different factions on the team, but what I didn't speak to was the players faction. And maybe we didn't have enough time, but we can definitely chop it up about that today. We talked about the front office and how all these front offices are smart and all of them gather data and all of them have excellent decision makers. What we didn't speak to yesterday, and we didn't finish that conversation, but what we didn't speak to yesterday is this. What do the players want? What do the players want? The players have say. What do the players want? What's the vibe of this team? I'm here to tell you that I think these young players love Tibbs. I think they love Tibbs because Tibbs is slowly making them the best version of their NBA selves. Slowly. Now, and you know kids, the one thing kids don't have is patience. But I think Tibbs is making these young NBA players the best versions of their NBA selves. Whereas if they would have went somewhere else and got rushed into the process, they'd be frustrated and struggling by now. Tibbs is basically saving them from themselves. Tibbs is the governor. Stephen in the building says, it's the Knicks Morning Drive with Uncle Freezy. Smash that like button. But bam! One of these days, I'm going to be able to afford a mixing board, an expensive mixing board, so that we can do the sounds and stuff, like the DJ horn. One day we're going to... One day we're going to be big. One day we'll be big like Knicks Fan TV, and we'll be able to have like a producer and a big mixing board. Shout out to Knicks Fan TV. So let me shout out, matter of fact, while I'm in Knicks Universe, shouting out people. Shout out to Sam Russell, nothing but Knicks and everybody over there. Great job, y'all. Great job. I'm slowly moving towards CK2K becoming my favorite Knicks content creator. Like, I'm watching the videos and stuff. I'm slowly moving that way. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to Jonathan Macri of Knicks Film School, who has always been in the pole position. I'm just saying CK2K is stepping this game up. That's what I'm saying. And so shout out to CK2K, man. Great job doing your stuff. And there's some others out there, BX the Jedi. I saw some of their stuff. Shout out to them, and shout out to Sports Vibes TV. They got like two old fogies on there. Like one of them is like, one dude's name is like George Costanza, and the other dude is like Stephen Fredericks or something. I kid, of course. You know, I do. I'm kidding. George and Stephen Fox do a great job on there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to those guys. There's others, man. CT is doing this thing. But I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I look at in the Knicks universe, I feel like my favorite is Lawrence Tibbs. It's my favorite. And it's because I'm gonna open up the chat in a little bit, because I know y'all want to talk about the conversation that I talked about initiated about what does the players want. I know y'all want to get into that. I just want to finish up with this. I think Lawrence Tibbs is my favorite because I'm so hands-on and hands-off at the same time. I'm hands-on and hands-off at the same time. So people come on, just random people come on, and they just chop it up, and they just tell you what's in their heart. They just tell you what's in their heart. Ain't no fancy pre-production slides, even though I do need to get better at that. I can do that. I feel like I can do that. I does this. I can do that now. But I don't want to, because I don't want to groove the conversation down a certain road. Now, I'm going to groove the conversation down a certain road for a few minutes this morning, but then after that, we'll chop it up about whatever. We'll stray away from the topic. Y'all know how we are. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to talk about what the players want, and eventually Sergeant Knicks, a.k.a. G-Man for Life, is going to talk about firing Tibbs, and Obi Toppin need to play 45 minutes a game. That's just what it is. Fire Tibbs, Uncle Freezy. Why he still here, Uncle Freezy? Why Obi ain't playing 48 minutes a night, Uncle Freezy? Calm down, G-Man. I know you like Obi. I like Obi too. I do. And the reason why I was critical is not because of Obi the player, but the lack of production from a top 8 pick. And I shouldn't have to explain that all the time, because people killing me in the comments like, Uncle Freezy hates Obi. When I clearly say I don't hate Obi, I just fear the lack of production from a top 8 pick. And even though I said that just now, looking you dead in your eyeballs, you're going to get in the comment section and say, Uncle Freezy hate Obi, man. He just hate Obi. Bruh, I just said I don't hate Obi. Okay? I just fear that the Knicks are going to get lack of production from another top 8 pick. Now, in crazy Knicks fan language, that means Uncle Freezy hate Obi, and there's nothing I can do about that. It's how it's translated into crazy Knicks fan talk. Quiet Money is in the building. What's good? Julian Blum. Still Knicks fans is in the building. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Our goal for Still Knicks fans, the YouTube channel, is 1,000 subscribers by March 1st. Now, if you feel like you want to be a part of something, you want to be a part of something special, listen, I don't co-sign for other people's channels. Not hardly. I don't hardly for the love of the game and for Still Knicks fans. I pound the table for them. And Hadouken and Sharon. Well, I guess I do pound the table for YouTube channels. But okay. But when people solicit, they're like, yo, can you shout out my channel? No, I ain't doing that. If your channel ain't dope, you ain't dope. Get your channel better. But our goal for Still Knicks fans is to be at 1,000 subscribers or higher by March 1st. It's a crime that they are not there yet. It's a crime that they are not yet there yet. And eventually in the future, if they ever stop looking down their nose at me like I ain't nobody, we probably gonna do some type of collaboration maybe next year or so. I'm just throwing a shot at Ron and John right now, right? Like, and for real, maybe next year. It's 2022. Maybe in 2023, you know what I'm saying, we'll do a collaboration with them. You know what I'm saying? Just something fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And so I've been babbling on a little bit. I have a lot of this stuff in my heart that I want to talk to the Lawrence Tibbs family about. Last night game against the Sacramento Kings, bro. It's last night's game against the Sacramento Kings. Kevin Middleton is in the building. What's good? Kevin Middleton says, OB haters was due to their loyalty to Randall and fear of a change. I watched Freezy literally make OB haters turn on him. Now Freezy changed. Watch his puppets try to revert back. Thank you, Kevin Middleton, for that. I appreciate you calling me Geppetto. I appreciate you saying that I have 3,000 people on a string that I make do whatever it is I want them to do. How ridiculous does that sound? Thank you, Kevin Middleton. I appreciate that, though. Uncle Freezy has 3,000 people on a string, and he get them to do whatever it is that they want to do because they can't think for themselves. Or we all take in data every day and are smart enough to understand that situations evolve. That might be a novel idea. That might be a novel idea. Either Uncle Freezy has 3,000 people that he has mind control over, and they just do his bidding, or reasonable people can adjust and change based on new information. I am gonna select B. Infamous New King, Quiet Money. Quiet Money says, I just gave Ron and John a new nickname, Tango and Cash. I'm trying to figure out which one is Tango. I need to figure out which one is the feisty one. All right, let me reset the thing real quick so I can bring everybody in and we can have this conversation, right? So I want to have the conversation when we talk about what the players want. Don't go off on the stupid Julius Randle tangent and have me boot you out the chat. Chat, I'm telling you right now, if somebody goes off on a stupid Julius Randle rant, I'm booting them out. I'm booting them. And I'm not giving them a warning, and I ain't going to talk to them. What we're going to talk about is the players and how the youthful energy is being served by these New York Knicks. All right, so the gauntlet has been laid down, right? All right. Where is my comment section? There we go. Yo, Brad Johnson is in the building. What's good? What's good, Brad Johnson? Hey, it's good to see you. Hey, it's good to see you, fella. How you doing? I hope you're doing good, man. It's me says, don't say that R word. R word, what you mean? Nah, no, it's me. Listen, it ain't that. It's that. It's like, say for instance, I'll be talking to D Poetic about the adjustments Tibbs made on offense. And what'll happen is somebody will jump in the conversation and be like, Randall holding the ball. His body language is killing Tibbs' offense. I don't know why we gave him the bag. And you be like, yo, hold on, partner. That's not even what we was talking about. If you had that to get off your chest, you need to get that off your chest and then let it go. But we are not about to have this stupid Elfrid Payton can't shoot conversation every morning and have it hijack the show every day and have us go down this stupid road every day, right? We're going to bring on smart people that are thoughtful and considerate of other people's thoughts, and we're going to have a conversation that evolves to a higher level, right? We're not about to have this stupid, we should have hired Kenny Atkinson when Kenny Atkinson didn't get a sniff from another team. And that's the guy you want.
Yo,
boss.
Good morning, sir.
You
fired up this morning, bro.
Man, this stupid hot chocolate, man, I was drinking. God dog it, I forgot it. I'm sorry, Danny.
Morning, guys. D.
What's
Uncle
up, Danny?
Freezy.
How you doing?
I keep forgetting Danny.
All right.
Doggone intro. My bad, Danny. I got you, bro. I promise you. I promise you. Right now, I'm working. Right now, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm working on the old school Knicks format, and so I'm trying to send something to Chuck Allen. I'm working on the intro to the show and some theme music and animations for the show so to transition better over the course of 2 hours. And and then I get sidetracked and I never get back. I just leave a lot of stuff incomplete. My bad, bro.
That's cool. No problem.
You know, I ain't forgot about you, bro. You know, you're an integral part of what we do here, bro. How's Lucas? I guess I took
You blacked out for a second.
Yeah.
Let me take out the time to mention a couple of things during your morning soliloquy. One, your breakdown of the game was completely hilarious and true. We could break it down a little bit further. There was a couple other things, but if you just wanted to like quickly summarize it, that was very nicely done.
Yeah.
The topic I really want to tackle is the possibility of Tibbs dropping his stubbornness and his pridefulness and his lack of adaptiveness and concentrating all his basketball efforts to breeding these young men.
All right.
I thought that was very interesting. And that was something that, if you care to, I would love to tackle with you.
Yeah. So I mentioned three things, right? And so what I'd like to do is stay anchored in that theme. So if the one that you mentioned, if you want to rock with that, let's go.
I'm ready to go. So what's like your mission statement on it, as far as like feeling that if Tibbs is doing that, what could be, the what was I want to come with? What could be like the productive streams of that now and in the future? Like,
okay, so here's the thing. The most important part of let me bring Kev in here real quick, and then I promise I'll get straight to it. Hey, Kev, yeah. when you bring it in, well, I'm gonna just say hello, but I'm gonna get to this so I won't lose my train of thought, bro. So what's up, Kev?
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
So the thing I was getting at, D, with Tibbs and the kids, first, don't underestimate the energy and exuberance these young kids have when they play together.
Absolutely, no problem with that.
Right. And so what happened is last night there were some plays. I think Kimba came down and hit somebody with a dime, and on the way back up the court, you know what I'm saying, they reached and dapped each other up. And then there was the Obi drive to the layup, unassisted, right? Obi finished at the basket, and the young players on the floor were jumping up and down and excited for Obi. Right. Yeah. So there's a difference, right? Julius Randle went to man. Julius Randle, when he right, bro. If you could ever get Julius Randle right, Julius Randle can be a machine. If he ever get right, and it's frustrating. But anyway, Julius Randle goes to the hole, takes his man. Just flat out size him up and take his man up the dribble, goes to the hole and score. Right? And the ball go around and it look like it's gonna come out, but it bounces in. He get a lucky bounce. All right, he running back up court. Everybody like, yeah, Juju, yeah. Right? Quentin Grimes hit the three from the wing, and the young players were losing it. It was like Mardi Gras out there. Right? Yo, Grimes came down and hit the three from the corner, and the young cats on the bench and on the floor was super excited, including RJ Barrett, who was struggling. Right? Evan Fournier starts out the game on fire, like he's gonna score 20 points, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Always starts on fire.
And the vets are going to Fournier like, yeah, man, good job. Right? But Obi dunk, and all the young kids are like, they're going. Kev, you ever heard this? You ever heard this quote before from the great American poet Prince? Clock strike 00. We're gonna party like it's 1999.
Yes.
And so the kids were part. That's the energy the kids were bringing to the table when another one of the kids was successful. Alec Burks went off. He saw drawing fouls, like doing the up fake, going to the rim, and they get into his body. He'd throw the ball at the basket and go to the rim. And sometimes he get the and one, sometimes he didn't. And the vets was like, "Good job, Burks. Good job, baby." Right? But Cam Reddish got fouled on a fast break and headed to the free throw line, and the kids were partying like the clock strikes 0-0 and it's 1999.
1999.
You know what I'm saying? And so here's the thing. We could look at that as if oh man, Uncle Freezy those kids just young, man, they just happy for each other. Well, you know what? Think about what you just said. Oh man, these kids are young and they are happy for each other. Think about what you just said.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to do is get to D Poetic's question about something that I asked, right?
Yeah.
Just so that we can stay on track. I think Tibbs, and I know this is going to sound counter to what I've been saying, for weeks, or for a couple of weeks now. I honestly believe Tom Thibodeau is the best thing for these young players. And I think in their heart, they really like Tibbs.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being is because for one, Tibbs is not worried about them making an all-star team in 2024. Right? Tibbs is worried about them making sure their assignments are right when they get in the game today.
Right.
Okay. Now, let me bring my guy in here just real quick.
Why in the world are you bringing this blue fool in here, man?
Come on, man.
This
Let me
blue
say,
fool.
can I say hello?
No, you can't say hello. Not at all. I'm just
Please.
messing with you.
Good morning. Good morning to the panel, the great people. Y'all show yesterday was exciting. I was just in the cut. And then Freezy came in with that extra energy this morning, so he pulled me in. And salute to the chat, man. Salute to the family.
My phone kept dying yesterday. But hey, G.I., let me finish this point on Tibbs real quick. I'm gonna finish this point on Tibbs real quick, and then I'm gonna pass the mic. Right? I believe the kids are excited for Tibbs for a number of different reasons. So for one, if you are a great defender for Tibbs, if you do defense and transition at a high level, Tibbs gives you all the offensive freedom you want. For one, that's number one. Now if you try to skip that,
Repeat that again.
So here's the thing. If you play defense and transition for Tibbs and do the small things that Tibbs wants to do, he will give you all of the offensive freedom that you want, right? But here's the thing. If you try to skip steps, if you try to go straight to offense, you'll be in Tibbs's doghouse, right?
Okay.
This is my observation, right? It's the reason why Tibbs was not a fan of Obi straight away, right? Because Obi wanted to get straight to the highlight dunks, and Tibbs is like, no, you're not going to beat Jeremy Evans. You're not going to beat Jeremy Evans. Anybody remember who Jeremy Evans is?
Yeah. Bald-headed dude.
Yeah, a rookie athletic power forward that won the dunk contest and was out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing.
Uncle Freeze, I got a question to ask you when you're done. I got a question to ask you.
Yeah,
because it was brought up in the chat, which is pertinent to what we're talking about.
Kev, ask your question.
I'm about to ask.
I know, Kev. Keep it real though. Before you ask your question, when you was in school, you had to sit in the corner. There,
No, I ain't sitting in the corner. I was a G. All right, I was a G, fool. If what you say is true, then why doesn't McBride get any? If you're talking about defense, why doesn't McBride get any?
He didn't even finish his point.
Yeah, we have to. I was gonna wait till after he finished to say exactly what you were gonna say.
And again, that's why I said I wanted to wait till he was done. That's why I did say that. I wanted to wait until he was done to ask my question. So
why did you just wait?
Because I was going to. But you say ask the question.
But you cut
me
off.
You did say that. I didn't cut you off. I got.
D'Angelo, what's good?
What's up, D'Angelo? What's up?
Salute. I'm gonna step back. I gotta hear all this commentary.
Okay, Freezy. So I finish what you were saying, sir.
I honestly got bumped off and I can't. So anyway,
No, I got you. You were getting to the fact that Tibbs rewards guys to play offensively freely when they take care of the defensive assignments in the half court and in transition.
Yeah. And Tibbs and what I've learned is Tom Thibodeau, his number one thing is being professional and ready from day one. And if you here's how I came to this deduction. Because I melted down a bunch of stuff, and this is what was remaining. He had a beef with Mitchell Robinson from day one. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You remember he had a beef with Mitchell Robinson from day one. And it wasn't because Mitch wasn't in shape or Mitch didn't try hard. It was because Mitchell Robinson was not professional and prepared. Right? So here's the thing. With these kids. Right? The Knicks have an excess and depth at certain positions that some of the kids just have to fight their way up the depth chart in order to get minutes. Right? Mm-hmm. It's just a part of anybody in here that coached know that when you look at your back when I was coaching, we only carried 12 guys. We didn't carry like 15 dudes, right? Mm-hmm. We carried 12, right? 5 started, and for the most part, 4 or 5 guys were gonna play off the bench, and that's a lot, right? But here's the thing: if you wanted to be the backup point guard, right? You had to beat the backup point guard out for his spot, right? And you did it in practice, right? If you wanted to be the starter, you had to show that you were a starter. You had to prove it. You had to legit be a starter before you were anointed a starter, right? So what Tibbs is doing, Tibbs is making these guys, right? These young fellas, right? Tibbs is making these young fellas earn it and then earn a little bit more and a little bit more as the season goes along. Mm-hmm. So last night you saw Quentin Grimes do 2 things that you don't normally see Quentin Grimes do, right? Mm-hmm. You saw Quentin Grimes take Tyrese Halliburton off the dribble. Well, yes. Tyrese Halliburton is a pretty good doggone defender.
Yes.
Right? You hadn't seen that before. Mostly you saw Quentin Grimes spotting up, being catch and shoot.
He's getting comfortable.
Right.
Because he's getting minutes.
Well, that too, and that he is proving certain things in practice. Right?
And in game 2.
Yeah, but okay. All right. So this is my point though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is my opinion. Right? In my opinion, he ain't been shown proven enough to do. He's earning a little bit more and a little bit more as he goes along. And Tibbs is slowly giving him more and more leeway to do certain things. right? Because he threw a pass last night also, right? And I was like, wow, okay. If this dude is going to be, because in my mind, when I first saw him, I thought he was going to be an elite defender, an elite spot-up shooter. Last night he showed that given some freedom, he can dribble a little bit and pass a little bit.
Absolutely.
And so by the end of the season, you may see a more well-rounded offensive player. I'm not saying he's going to be great.
Right.
But what I am saying is Tibbs is going to give him the freedom to do more stuff as he continues to do more and more defensively and in transition. Right.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing with that. I think, and this is my opinion, and this is me. Everybody's entitled to their own.
Of course.
I think Tibbs might be the perfect coach for this young core going forward as they develop into better NBA players. Is Tibbs gonna be the guy that's holding the Larry O'Brien trophy with Quentin Grimes? I don't think so. But what I do think is in the next couple of seasons, like finish out the next 31 games and next year's games, I think Tibbs is going to be the guy to get them to the point where they're ready to take over with another coach.
Right.
All right. Kev,
you said a lot there.
Kev,
I don't know if you want to go around and then we'll cipher around. I don't know how you want to do it.
Now I just want to answer Kev's question and then I'm gonna get out of the way.
Okay.
So Kev, to your point about Miles McBride, for one, reasonable basketball minds would suggest that Miles McBride is not a pure point guard, right? And neither is Emmanuel Quickly, right? So if we just if you mentally pencil Miles McBride in as a point guard behind Kemba and Derrick Rose, I think that may be a mistake because Miles McBride is not ready to be an NBA facilitator yet. Now, with that said, to your point, if Miles McBride is playing the defense and doing the transition stuff the same as Quentin Grimes, why is he not getting more minutes? I just think you have one point guard and you have one point guard on the floor and you have two wing players. You know what I'm saying? So you could deal with a RJ, Fournier, Burks, Grimes rotation on the wing, but the point guard situation in general is Kemba, Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Quickly, and then some McBride. So I think it's just a log jam in front of McBride. I think McBride will be fine, just not yet. Just give him time. He'll get there.
Okay.
Anybody want to chime in to his Tibbs perspective on the young guys before I go in on them?
Let me ask you one more. Let me ask another question. Do you think next year you can see these guys getting more time?
Kev, instead of you asking another question, how about listen?
You know what? I'm gonna keep quiet. You know what?
Kev, listen to me.
I'm gonna hit
Kev, do you think, because you asked that based in a certain perspective, just give us your point on it. What do you think?
Well, I don't know what I think because I made a point yesterday and it turns out that it was totally wrong in your eyes.
Forget about his eyes. It matters what you think. I want to know what you think. That's why you're here, right?
I said yesterday.
Shut up. No, but I said something about Atkinson yesterday, and I got taken to the coals on it.
And
Freezy's perspective could be skewed on that. The point is, we want to hear your take.
Okay, so I think next year, once the few of these vets are no longer with us, I do believe that we will start using more of the young guys. And honestly, I can't wait for to see what the guy from Spain looks like when he finally joins us.
But will these players have a good impact on Tibbs? Because the point of the discussion is that Freezy feels like he's having a really good effect on the young guys because they're earning their way into playing offensively freely and being able to increase their minutes by doing what he's asking defensively.
And things are not given to them.
Right. That's why I said early. Right.
Okay. Well, a lot of these, at least the rookies for this year, were I think handpicked by Tibbs. Am I correct?
We don't know the answer to that. Let me get in here.
Who's asking? Wait. How you gonna cut in front of me? In front of me, Landa? How you gonna get in front of me, Landa? Shoot. I think
because the cream rises to the top, and right now, bro, you like sugar.
Oh my goodness!
Gotta stir it up,
man. I'm coming.
Gotta put some heat to them and stir them up.
I'm coming down to the bricks. I'm coming down to the bricks right now. We gonna end this.
Kev, that's frat talk, Kev. That's frat talk, Kev. I'm just saying.
Oh,
nah. Yeah, I'm hopeful that Tibbs will give these guys more time next year. That they'll have a year under their belt, and yeah, that's the way I see it, and that's all I got to say.
Before D cooks, let me jump in.
Yeah, go.
Because I think here's what's most important. Yesterday really set it up for last night, and I don't know if the Knicks fans though are connecting the dots because we said we want to draft better. We want to develop players better. Why bring in old players to take minutes? And I was with everything that was said yesterday, other than some of the Randall bashing. I don't think it's fair, but a lot of stuff that's being said, I'm with. And then we went to a team last night who, for the past 7 years, have been out drafting us, kicking our tail. Sacramento has kicked our tails in the draft. They've gotten better draft positions when we wanted to be in it, and they left with better talent. But they have no long-term plan. Look what they got. They got great players running around, talented players running around at a bunch of different positions. And I mean, Fox and I think Marvin Bagley's on that team too, right? He's still on that team, right?
Yeah.
He probably hurt, right? But it just goes to show, if you have talent and no plan, you still have nothing. The saddest part about that team last night, that Sacramento team, there was not one person with a will to play harder than any of Julius Randle, Fournier, Burks, and RJ didn't have the greatest game. And Mitch, the four of them alone outplayed. And these are four players who are always complete. They went on that floor and outplayed anything Sacramento could have brought out. So it lets you know that it's not always about talent. So last night helped me cool my jets a little bit because while we're complaining about where we are at the Knicks, and I'm not happy. D, I'm not happy. Freeze, I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
Right.
But guess what I do? I wouldn't want to be. The Sacramento Kings, a bunch of high draft picks and all this talent that people want, but when
no plan
on the floor, no plan, no emotions, no feeling. They just going out and going through. So I was happy I'm not the King. So if this Freezy, if it does happen that the kids are working on the Tibbs, and although Tibbs is not happy, he's still at it, then we may be on to something. We may be, but I just think it's all going to get blown up in time.
All right, let me bring in Sam. Let me bring in Sam real quick. Just real quick.
Sammy.
What's up, Sam?
Hello, how y'all doing?
Good morning, Sam.
All good.
I'm Freezy. Can I just ask you something?
Sam.
Just what I'm trying to comprehend here is you got all this positivity just from last night's win, that Tibbs is now the man and he's going to win Coach of the Year again.
No,
I can't handle this.
No, that's not. No, that's completely.
He didn't say that.
What I said.
Yeah, he didn't say that. He's not saying that.
But what I'm trying to get at is like now he's like the man that's gonna take the young guys, and they're all gonna latch onto his leg. Hey, Daddy, we're gonna do it now. Come on! I still don't see Tibbs. I mean, Tibbs. No, I don't see it. I don't see what you're seeing.
Okay, so
I don't at all.
So listen to this.
Played a horrible game
I said, look at the young play. Look at the players, right?
Yeah.
When Evan Fournier was cooking last night in the beginning of the game,
right?
Players were just dapping him up, like, "Yeah, good job, Fournier," right? But when Quentin Grimes hit threes, the young core celebrated for other members of the young core. That's what I mentioned. Remember, I said clock hit 0-0.
Yeah.
We're gonna party like it's 1999.
Yeah, no, I got you, Prince, everything.
So that was in reference to the young players, right? And remember, I also said that this whole thing about Tibbs developing like 3 years down the road. Remember, I said that's not a factor at all. Right. Remember, I said Tibbs wants them to make sure that their assignments are right on the floor every time they step on the floor. Right? So I mentioned that. And I also mentioned that the kids may want to develop at a faster pace, but Tibbs is making them do the basic stuff first, the foundational stuff first. Remember, that's also what I said. I never said that Tibbs is going to turn Miles McBride into Kyle Lowry and the Knicks are going to win the championship next summer. I never said that.
I don't know. Just I listen. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer with the win last night. As you all know, that was a bad team. They played that Sacramento team is bad. That is a bad team.
Yeah, they're
terrible. And let's. I mean, you know, before I start, I want to see the chemistry. You want to see all the things and reach love and peace and all that fun stuff. Us winning again and getting in this thing in the right direction. Tibbs is not having a good coaching year. It's just the way Tibbs is. I want to see us go on a nice game, a winning streak. But it's not going to happen with this team the way it's constituted unless they make some sort of trade, getting into all that stuff. But I'm not that positive on Tibbs. I just still not. And the jury's still out. Let's see what we do tomorrow and the games ahead before I start, getting the
D'Angelo, wait. You all over the place with me right now. I can't follow.
I am. I know.
So
because man got it. That's all.
Well, the thing is, you said, how did I change on Tibbs and all the Tibbs positivity? And then we started talking about
no, because it was like he came out of the shoot today saying, a lot of positive stuff about Tibbs and stuff like that. Him with.
I mean, he was D'Angelo. What he was basically saying is that he sees in his eyes that he's grooming the young guys to a degree where they're learning how to play defense inside this league first, and by that, it's translated to them being able to work more freely into the offense, and he feels that Tibbs is a big part of that.
Yeah,
he's a big part of it. All right,
and it's as simple as this.
Okay,
it's as simple as this. The vets are professionals viewing their professional livelihood as a job right now. Right? These dudes have to maintain a certain level of productivity because at the trade deadline, they may be in another city.
No, of course.
And next year they may be in another city, and these dudes have bills to pay. Right? The kids, on the other hand, you can tell they're excited about basketball and a young core.
Right.
And all the same stuff that me and Cornerstone Cap talk about, I'm certain they talk about that in the locker room too, amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure Obi is wanting more minutes, but I think Jericho Sims wants more minutes too.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I still think Tibbs still has his favoritism to his main guys, like the Tajes and the Roses and things like that.
Yeah.
And which could hamper the kids along the way too, because he just favors them a little too much and plays them a little too many minutes.
Okay.
And puts his thumb down on the guys that should be getting a little more burn out there. So that seems a little bit, up in the air in my mind. What how he's going to handle it. Like I said, I hear what you're saying. I think the jury's still out. Let's see how things go. That's it. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I just want to.
I'm all over the place. If I am, I'm sorry and confusing everybody, but whatever. It just
Sorry, just take a deep breath. Take your time. No problem.
I'm down, bro. I'm down with this team. I'm really down.
D'Angelo was like, every time I hear Tibbs' name, I get pissed off.
Yeah, his blood pressure rises. Right.
I seen flowers shoot. Yeah, I seen the flowers shooting out of your mouth about Tibbs this morning. I'm like, yeah.
No, and so the thing about it is I started with we beat the Sacramento Kings, so what? They came out flat. We came out flat. They came out flatter. We realized we can beat the brakes off them. We got a big lead. The kids played and had fun. We stretched the lead. We blew them out. So what? That's how I started it.
That's how I did it. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. It's like, okay, and next.
Right. So that's how I started the joint. It wasn't a let's build a Macy's float for Tom Thibodeau.
And I'm happy. Of course, we got to win. It's a win.
Yeah.
But again, we got a grueling schedule, as we all know. It's coming. We may get very well flattened. We're already a flattened team. We're going to get even pummeled this upcoming game. So
what's the best case scenario? So go ahead.
I'm done.
So I don't know if you want Sam to go real quick. I don't know if Sam has something to say.
No, D, I'd rather you go.
Okay, no problem. So, Freezy, this is what I say. I like where you're going, thought wise, and I think there is something to it, and know that this is a perspective that I'm not the biggest Tibbs fan.
Okay.
So keep that in mind as I give you my assessment. I think there's reality, and I think there is what could happen. So let's go over what could happen. If Tibbs, well, first of all, before I get into that, I think there's an imbalance in what you're saying in the sense that certain guys get to play freely offensively if defensively they perform their assignments in the half court in transition. Because my question to that would be, well, what about Evan Fournier? What about Kemba Walker? What about Julius Randle? You see, they are not tight on their defensive assignments, but yet they do play a bulk of the minutes.
So you missed my point.
Well, I know you just talk about the young guys.
The young guys.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm talking about. I know you are, but I just want to keep in mind that my concern is that will it be balanced? Will everybody have the same leash? Okay, good. Okay,
we know that. We know.
Okay, cool. Okay,
I even get on the floor.
I just wanted to establish that there is a double standard. So now moving into the future, right? So say for example, right? I think he does have like Tom Thibodeau is not an idiot. Tom Thibodeau has had 3 coaching jobs. He won a championship as an assistant coach. He's been a president of basketball operations. He is not a dummy. So let's get that right too. And in light of that, I think that his weaknesses overshadow his strengths because his weaknesses are things that he has done throughout every coaching stint that he's had.
Yeah.
So now, to your declaration, that if he was to take care of this young team, I think there could be a lot of positives in that. But I'm just concerned that I would have to deal with the same things that's been dealt with throughout all his coaching stints. Do I have to deal with him starting to treat players a little bit unfairly to that double standard that we were talking about? And will that stunt their growth? That's number one. Number two, if he could develop, that's great. And if you could get into games in where you're able to win games, right, or be at competing to win games, is it still going to stop Tom Thibodeau from running into the same bumps in the road that he has with his in-game adjustments, his distribution of minutes, and his rotations? You see, it doesn't matter if they're old guys, if they're young guys. Am I still dealing with these same issues?
Yeah.
Right. So these are just concerns, but I will be positive at the end of the note, though. I feel if he could put away his stubbornness, if he can get up his adaptability, if he could take away his pridefulness and just coach the kids and unapologetically be himself as a defensive genius as he puts himself to be, I think good things will happen more than bad things.
Hey, can we start at point number 1?
No doubt.
All right. Can you recap point 1 first? Because I think what we were talking about is Tibbs and the clear double standard.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. As a head coach, and this is I'm just not even gonna say Tibbs. I'm just gonna say Coach Smith. When Coach Smith gets the roster, some people are gonna be on that roster that he's in favor of, and some are not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You and I both know that Tom Thibodeau does not hunt out players like Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. Right?
Okay.
We know that. We know Evan Fournier is not a Tom Thibodeau type player. Right? Where'd Jay Boogie go? I was just going to bring in Jay Boogie just a bit. But okay. So for one, let's look at the players that Tibbs can control. Those are the fringe NBA players and young guys. You're going to do what I tell you to do or else. Right? But when you're a 4-year, $78 million player, you was recruited by the front office. You were sold a bill of goods by the front office. Hey, if I take this contract, this is what I'll get. Okay, I'll sign with y'all. This is what I'll bring every day. Even if the coach, the coach can't hold that player to the same standard because the front office wants this guy to play. You know what I'm saying? Julius Randle, your Julius Randle's, here he is, right here. Go Jay Boogie right here.
Let's get it. Y'all be spitting with your flows, I'm just podcasting. That's right. On the air every day, I'm just podcasting. You don't know what that mean when I say I'm podcasting. I'm broadcasting these flows with the podcasting. Every day of my life, I'm just podcasting. Right. Share my dreams with you, me and I'm podcasting. You can see my vision through the podcasting. But don't forget Jay Boogie when I'm broadcasting. I'm podcasting, he's podcasting. I've been spitting this venom since Karate Flicks. When Mr. Sales was sharing nothing but the Knicks. I guess you know by now, I seen some tough years. Now I know the reason why Freezy got them blowing tears.
Jay Boogie, what's good?
It's good, Jay Boogie.
Jay Boogie, salute, brother.
Yeah, Boogie.
Hey, so to the point I'm getting at, I guess to be concise and to be contrite, Tibbs has to coach some players one way and other players another way because his hands are tied.
Right, he's just being a good soldier because he has to follow the directions of what the front office gave him as far as these signings. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. You know, Tibbs. You think about. Let me ask you this: do you think Tibbs would rather play Grimes or Fournier right now?
I think it will be Grimes in a landslide.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I mean. So sometimes we judge Tibbs fairly, and sometimes we don't judge him fairly. When he gets to do what he wants, he'll sit funny. Y'all remember? Not only did he bench Kemba, and the whole Knicks universe was in an uproar because he benched Kemba, and at the same time he was benching Fournier in the fourth quarters. He was doing both at the same time, and by the way, playing young players in their spot, right? And we bash Tibbs because we say, oh, he's not adaptable. He don't make changes and all these things, man. What I'm saying is Tibbs ain't perfect. D'Angelo, before we have a meltdown, bro. Tibbs ain't perfect, man. He's not.
You really think that he has no carte blanche of who he plays in that the front office is telling him who to play?
Yes.
You think that?
Yes. Definitely.
I don't believe that.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree totally.
Okay. Hey, make your case. Make your fake case for me being wrong.
I want you to finish your point first so that we can discuss that.
Yeah.
No, my point's not important. That point I was gonna make was whack. What's your point?
No. No, we were getting into the double. You were bringing up good points, right? And you were bringing up that there was a double standard, right? going on, but you feel that the reason why the double standard is happening is because you feel like his hands are tied, and that the front office and Leon Arco is saying, hey, look, listen, we paid Evan Fournier 4 years, $78 million. You got to get this guy minutes on the court. He has to start for your team. And so keep going.
Yep.
Could be.
That's it. That's the point. That's the point.
Okay. So you feel the same way with Kemba, because Kemba was only $8 million.
Yep. Same thing with Kemba.
Okay, so you're done. So let's tackle that.
Yeah.
I think there's some validity to it, right? But I don't think it's too extreme as you're painting the picture. Like, I find it very hard to believe that all the accolades that Tom Thibodeau has had in this league, and especially the relationships he's developed and connections throughout all the years of coaching in different places and getting certain positions and stuff like that, that Tom doesn't have a yay or nay say in things. I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, me too.
Wait. You mean, okay, all right. Let's back up a little bit on that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. So when I say that Tibbs has to play certain players and certain roles, I stick to that. But I'm not saying that this dude is being told when to put guys in, when to take guys out, and all that stuff. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the front office is like, yo, we signed this guy, right? Tibbs, you got to play him.
Okay.
And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Obi, right? The front office is like, yo, Tibbs, we drafted this dude with our first ever draft pick. You got to at least give this man 10 minutes a game. At least. And Tibbs did that to the T last year. If you notice, Obi's minutes wasn't like, 20 minutes this game, 0 minutes the next. It was like, you're going to play 4.5 here, 4.5 here, and that's it.
Yeah.
To the point where Obi Toppin was frustrated, like, why am I on a minutes restriction? It's because Obi, you wasn't ready in Tibbs' eyes, bro. And the front office made, and it would have been a terrible look for them to make their first ever draft pick.
Yeah,
and
but
Tibbs
Freezy,
were giving them DMPs.
Freezy, then who? But is it Tibbs' call to sit Cam Reddish, not playing more minutes, or is that the organization? Whose call is that?
That's Tibbs.
Yeah, I think that's Tibbs.
Okay,
right
so
now.
you made a trade, gave up first round pick, gave up Knox, which wasn't much. Whose call is that? He says he's non-rotational player. That's why Cam's not. So that's his call. But you think the organization wants him to play Cam Reddish? I'm sure they do.
Right. We all do. And to be honest with you, I think Tibbs wants to play Cam also. But Tibbs as a coach has to learn Cam Reddish. They legit just met each other the other day, bro. I mean, they became, I'm sorry, not just met, but they legit just became, they just got in the same workspace the other day. They have to learn each other. There's a transition period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like the Knicks traded for Paul George. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think Cam Reddish is going to be a version of Paul George. But what I'm saying is we can't blame Tom Thibodeau for everything that goes wrong in Knicks universe.
Of course not.
You just can't do that. Because last night I saw him adjust the offense at least 4 times for RJ Barrett, and RJ Barrett's shot was still off. Right. He put RJ Barrett on the ball. Well, maybe if we put the ball in his hands, maybe he could, get going. Oh, well, maybe the defense that they're running has RJ off. Maybe we should spot RJ up. He ran the Quentin Grimes. You know the Quentin Grimes curl? You know what Quentin Grimes is up top with Quickly. He'll hand the ball off to Quickly, and he'll run around the backside of the defense.
Yeah, the pin down curl.
Yeah. He ran that for RJ once, right? RJ still missed. Tibbs does make adjustments during the games. I think our frustration is not the what's best for the team. I think it's what we want to see. That's the reason why we get frustrated that we don't see enough of Obi and we don't see enough of Cam. But the thing about it was Alec Burks and Evan Fournier were cooking last night. So if Tibbs would have took out the hot hand last night to play Cam, today's conversation would have been Tibbs always take out the hot hand. So when somebody start cooking, Tibbs take them out. You know what I'm saying?
So Freezy, let me say this. I think that if we're gonna go with the narrative, right, that his hands are tied, right, he could at least adjust the minutes a little bit more with style. And I'll show you a perfect example. Yesterday, what have I been saying for 2 months, Freezy, how I would use Evan Fournier? You remember?
No, go ahead and elaborate.
Okay. I said that he would be my JJ Redick type of player in first or third quarters. I would give him a lot of shot opportunities. I run a lot of sets from him, and if he's on, he's on, and if he ain't, he ain't. And his minutes will be predicated on how he shoots. It's exactly what they did last night. It could be done more, and you can have more times for your Grimes, and you can even got in a little deuce in there, a little bit, a little sprinkle of deuce there, if you distribute these roles correctly. So yeah, his hands might be tied to a certain degree, but he is in charge of roles on that team. So he can't tell the front office, hey, I'm not playing Evan. I mean, you can't say I'm not playing Evan because, he's getting these minutes, and if he's not doing anything, we know he's a defensive liability. So we're giving the opportunity, but we know also, and we can show the stats too, right, and the analytics, that if he's not on, he's not on. And you know that about Evan. Evan usually never picks up in the second half of games. If he's off, he's off. So we know this.
Yeah.
So why don't they? If we know, right, that Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, right, can't be on the court at the same time together, why would the front office endorse them to play in the front court and backcourt together, knowing that's one of the worst backcourts in the league?
Great question.
But okay. So you're asking a question that we asked in November, right? And the thing is, and Tibbs made an adjustment, and y'all didn't like it.
What was the adjustment?
Tibbs benched Kemba, and Tibbs got roasted for benching Kemba Walker. Why is Tibbs benching Kemba Walker?
I felt he should have benched Evan instead.
Right, okay.
But that's fine.
And not you. I'm doing the fake baby crying thing. I'm just saying in general, right? So the thing is Cornerstone Kev was like, Tibbs bench Kemba.
No, I did not. I did heck no. Not even. Stop telling lies, man.
See, Kev, you fall for it every time. You fall for it.
But I'm just saying. When BS is BS, I'm like, come on, really?
Kev, come on, bro.
Kev, stop being so loud in your office, Kev.
Yeah. And Kev, I saw.
You need to make that bed up.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Did you see Spider-Man No Way Home yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay, me and you got to do a conversational vibe.
Yes, we do.
We got this.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I think it'll be more deep than what we talk about right now.
Very deep, bro. Very deep. But the thing is when Tibbs benched Kemba, Knicks fans started pouting. Why is he benching? We don't have another point guard. Why is he starting Alec Burks instead of Kemba? That was defense. Yeah, right. But in real time, in that moment, fans turned on Tibbs, right? And then Tibbs was benching Fournier in the fourth quarter also, and fans were like, "Well, if you ain't gonna play him, why'd you sign him to that big contract?" So what I'm getting at is, regardless what this dude does, he's going to be criticized. And what I'm going to say is Coach Smith, whoever we put in Tibbs' spot, we are not going to be satisfied with rotations, with minutes, with roles, or any of that, right? Because last night, I think Tibbs called a masterful game against a bad team. Both teams were running the same exact offense. Tibbs running the high pick and roll on his end. Alvin Gentry running the high pick and roll with his young guards on the other end. And I think Tibbs did a masterful job of getting to his second and third options. The Sacramento Kings could not get to their second and third options. The Knicks defense was stifling them because Tibbs outcoached Alvin Gentry. Now, with that said, it's the Sacramento Kings. They suck. The Knicks were trash last night also. If it wasn't for Evan 48 and Alec Burks getting hot in stretches, I think we'd be having a different conversation this morning.
Uncle Freezy.
So,
my question. I'm sorry, D. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead go ahead and ask because I mean we still didn't get nowhere with the conversation. But go ahead, Danny.
My bad. All right, this will be fast. I'm just saying maybe this Tibbs guy is like finally like opening his eyes a little bit about these young guys. Are finally noticing. Oh, maybe I got something with these guys. I need to play these dudes because some of my vets are not getting the job done. Can it be that Freezy that he's finally like opening his eyes up and noticing he's got some players there, some young dudes that could play?
Maybe he had a plan all along.
Oh.
The diabolical Tom Thibodeau.
Sammy, that's my man. Sammy's my man.
Come on.
Diabolical.
I'm gonna pull out my car.
Hey, Boogie, you feel like he had a plan all along? Because I don't.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
He did have a plan at the beginning. At the beginning, he had a plan, but then I guess other reasons they wasn't going along with his plan, and they wanted to try and do something different. So now it looks like he didn't have a plan. You know, that's just office and the coaching staff splitting up.
Disconnect, right?
To me, I'm going to keep it hot and keep my situation pointed at the office. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying that, over and over. That's going to be my main outline. The office got to get it right. So right now, he's just doing what he can with what he got. But what he got is not working. But being what he got is not working, what he needs to do is make the proper adjustments. That's what brings along our arguments that he doesn't make.
So what's the proper adjustments?
Go young. What you mean? Go young. See, y'all, you sitting there talking about Cam Reddish ain't getting the playing time because Evan got hot. No, he got hot in the first quarter.
Right.
He scored 2 points after that.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not what I said. I said he didn't get minutes early on because Fournier and Burks got hot.
But what I'm saying
you gotta quote me right, dog. Come on, man.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is the hotness went away. It's time to make adjustments, and that's what he falls at. You keep hoping that somebody going to get back to where they was instead of moving on to somebody that can do what they was doing already. They itching to get in there. And they not letting us down.
Riddle me this, Freezy. Why does Taj some nights get 20 minutes?
Don't get
and get 0.
So let me do this. How about y'all supply answers?
This is your argument. It's your argument.
Because the thing is with this is at times I have to reel myself in because I know I have all the answers and I know I'm 100% right.
Excuse me,
right.
Mr. Freezy / Tom Thibodeau.
That's Spice Talk. Jersey City Spice Talk. Jay Chilltown in the building. Spice Talk.
Yeah, so here's the thing. When y'all have a point that you want to make, man, you make the conversation better by making your point and building on your point, add your part to the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because asking me to make your point only dilutes your point. And I'm not talking to be poetic. What I'm saying is just in general. If you have a point to make it.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to everybody.
Yeah. Let me know who you talking to. Don't be fishy.
No, I'm talking to everybody, bro. Because Jay Boogie, it's like me and Jay Boogie was in a place together, right? And Jay Boogie was like, "Yo, I'm telling you, LL Cool J is the greatest rapper of all time," right? And with me, I know that was a false statement, right? But I didn't come at Jay Boogie and say, "Hey, Jay Boogie, let me ask you this." I was like, "No, Jay Boogie, you wrong." Nas said, "I'll sneak a Uzi on the island in my army jacket lining." That's the exact quote that I told Jay Boogie. Me and him was face to face in a certain thing. We was at a certain thing together, whatever. Right? That's exactly what I told Jay Boogie, and the conversation evolved. What we do here is we have a point that may be half cocked, and then you ask somebody else to answer it just in case you might be wrong. Don't do that, man. Come with your guns blazing. That's what I'm saying. Don't tiptoe into the thing. You know what I'm saying? If you got a point, come with your guns blazing. I'm not gonna be offended. The chat, damn sure ain't gonna be offended. You know what I'm saying? GI is perfect at that. What GI just come with his points, with his guns blazing. Now sometimes I'm like, GI, why you got your guns blazing at me? I'm sorry, Uncle Freezy. When I have these guns blazing, everybody can get it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I asked Kev a few minutes ago, instead of asking a question, tippy-toeing into the conversation, make your point. That's what I was getting at. Not that I was trying to be disrespectful.
As soon as I made my point, you said that I was going to answer that question anyway. So that's the reason why I said, you know what? Put the lock on the mouth and throw away the key.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm just saying.
So Freezy, good question. You want guns blazing, right? That's what you want? Okay, good. Your perspective on Tibbs, as far as him being able to right this ship with young guys and have them develop stuff like that, is completely skewed and incorrect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's what you want, right?
I guess he wants you to go on.
I want more of that.
Yeah, I guess he wants you to go.
I want more of that. So why? So why am I so wrong?
Oh, now you want to ask 50 questions?
No, I want you to build on it. I want you to keep the guns blazing.
His track record.
Because based on what I've seen throughout his career and just this season alone, he doesn't do things evenly and balanced. And sometimes he doesn't do things according to what the game is calling. You see?
Okay.
And there's other times too where he'll favor just a certain thing of what he likes over something that could be even better if you just play it on the court. So, for example, I'm seeing in the chat, Todd sets a good screen. Well, it must be not that good if he didn't get no damn minutes last night against the Kings.
Right.
In a blowout. So what I'm saying,
and Noel was hurt.
So what I'm saying is that part of development, Freezy, right, is letting guys play. See, he did it with Grimes, and you see now because of the minutes, right, that are allocating and is getting consistent. Now you see him doing stuff off the dribble now.
Right.
You see, did you see that a couple of weeks ago, right?
No, you didn't see that. You definitely not a month ago.
He went on a pick. He went on a screen, right? And the big guy came at him, and he caught him with a hezzy with the jumper, crossed him, got to the lane, right? And then he caught Halliburton. It's like, ooh, look at, he's getting comfortable, right? Because he's playing.
Right.
Yep.
Same thing will happen with Deuce. The same thing will happen with Sims. You have to play them. If you have if you have young potential talent, right? You have to play them.
Thank you.
It could be in the second quarter. It could be in the second quarter for 5 minutes.
Totally.
And I'll be like, okay, good. They got a burn. That's good.
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
How many DMPs,
All I've
Freezy?
been saying.
How many times we've had blowouts, whether winning or losing, and we still don't see them?
That's right.
I'll give you an example.
Yes.
Denver. When we lost, hold on, guys. When we lost to Denver, right, in that matinee game, we were getting the brakes beaten off of us. You know, when he went into the fourth quarter, Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, right, and I forgot the other two. That's called a consistency.
Yeah.
That's not prioritizing player development at the right time and moment, right?
Interesting.
I wish I had a beer so I could toast you. I wish I had a beer so I could toast you.
Before we hand out bouquets to Tibbs today, Freezy, please.
Well, here's the problem.
So, and this is what I like right here. This is this is the way that I like to have the conversations. You know what I'm saying? I like for y'all to put it all out on the table, as opposed to answering the nice Nancy Drew questions.
So unfortunately, I got to pull back a couple of layers because we got to go back. We're trying to figure out Tibbs today. But in order to do that, you really have to figure out how Tibbs got here to begin with and what promises did they make each other. And I just, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pull this gentleman back into the fray because I think he has a lot to do with it, and the fact that he's not talking, the front office not talking. I think Dolan is a big part of Tibbs being here, because I just don't believe that Dolan will tear this thing down for 5 years and really build it up. So I think Dolan expects that we will constantly have a ability to go out there and show a good product and be winning. So until Dolan and Leon Rose and Tibbs can all get on the same page, because it's evident Tibbs is only going to play certain players. J Book, I hear you. I am of a different belief though. I think some of you guys think if Tibbs would do this with the rotation, that we could be a better team. Nah, man. You get a better team by having the right athletes and by not having a point guard, somebody who could dribble a ball for 6 or 7 seconds and not cause problems. Most of our guys who dribble for 6 or 7 seconds cause problems. Randall, if he's dribbled for 6 or 7 seconds, that's no good. RJ, if he's dribbled for 6 or 7 seconds, at some point he's just going to dive to the hole and throw it up. Love him to death. But that's what he's going to do. So until you get that player that can hold the ball for you for 6 or 7 seconds and in the rotation and get other people play, the Tibbs style, nobody's style will work. So it still comes back to, do you have enough talent on that floor? And I think Kemba was the guy they wanted to get it done, but Kemba's just himself right now. So you can beat up Tibbs, you can beat up Randall, you can beat up Rose. I mean, as a Knicks fan, you have a plethora of people to blame. But the fact of the matter is, until this organization moves as one unit, making one decision around a set of players and being we're just not going anywhere. We really are in purgatory. Now, the blessing is with basketball, it's fluid. Anything could change overnight. But right now, it's a cluster.
GI, you wrong, bro. Don't backpedal. What are you doing?
He's talking that BS. That's all he's doing.
Yeah, don't do this.
That's all he's doing. Talking that BS.
Yeah, we are embracing the soft tank like you mentioned months ago. All the conversations
that blue bow tie
are different. All the conversations that we're having.
Blind ball. But the soft tank
is embracing your soft tank theory.
Yeah, but here's the soft tank. Kemba Walker doesn't get 20 minutes in the soft tank. Evan Fournier doesn't. In the soft tank, you develop players. You're gonna lose the game. This guy, man. I'm telling you, he had to sit in the corner, bro. He has no.
I was a G. I was a G. I was a G.
That's it, GI.
Hey, GI, and listen, the soft tank theory.
You don't use veterans. The soft tank, man.
No. So here's the thing. Here's the thing with the soft tank. Here's the thing with the soft tank, right? So you start off with and this is why it's a soft tank. You go out and get high-profile guys. That's not going to produce. Oh. But they high profile, so it looks like they're going to do something, but they don't. Right? You bring in Kemba. Oh my God, we have 19-time All-Star Kemba Walker at point guard. But this however many time All-Star Kemba Walker is washed, and he ain't gonna make it through the season. They know this. Right? We have former league MVP Derrick Rose as his backup. Well, Derrick Rose ain't gonna make it through the full season, and we know this, right?
Yep.
So that's the starting point of the soft tank, right? You're like, we're bringing in Evan Fournier. He's a 17-point per game scorer. Well, he does that in offenses that usually lead the league in pace. But what does he do when the team is 30th in pace? He gives you the exact production that he's giving you right now. Right? Because the Knicks are terrible, are last in offensive pace. He ain't get ready to give you 20 points a game in the 30th ranked pace. The soft tank is building momentum, right? You don't go out and get Julius Randle the pieces that listen, man. You could have easily brought back Elfrid Payton and Reggie Bullock and ran it back and got the same Julius Randle, but you're soft tanking. Right? You're soft tanking, right? So you go out and get you go out and draft these kids that you say are ready, but they're not really ready. They're ready. They're going to be good players, right? But they're not. They wouldn't. Think about this. If the Knicks were going to the playoffs, do you think Quentin Grimes was legit getting 20 minutes a game on a playoff team? Hell no. Hell no. You think Miles McBride was going to get 20 minutes a game on a playoff team? Hell no. Come on, y'all. Be real. And so what the front office did is they eased you into the soft tank. They didn't tell you it was a soft tank. They were like, yo, the greatest trick ever known was the devil saying that he doesn't exist. Right? That's the greatest trick ever played on mankind. I don't exist. People are just evil for no reason. Right? So here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Leon Rose did that to Knicks fans. He was like, the greatest trick we'll play on them is letting them think that this team was a playoff team, and then something happened, we failed, and now we're back in the lottery through no fault of our own. Nah, this is a soft. Listen, the ghetto intellect was a genius when he said it way back before the season started. Because now Knicks fans are saying, well, trade away all these veterans and play the kids. Guess what that's going to do? If you trade away all these veterans and play the kids and let them play through their mistakes, these kids are going to get better, but the team is not going to win.
So?
What lottery position is would you get in a soft tank?
Good,
Yo, hitting that guy in the morning.
He ain't got the shades on, man.
Hey, him, what's good, bro?
How y'all doing today?
Good, man.
What's up, man? How you?
My name was good.
Yeah. Hey,
Good,
so
good,
Depot had
everybody.
asked a question, right? So D said, what draft position would you probably get if you tank this shit? That's the question.
Or just in a soft tank in general. Like, what lottery position are you looking at in the first round from a soft tank?
I'm saying 7 because we will never do good to draft.
I was gonna say about 10.
But they're in the lottery right now.
Wait,
Yeah.
what are we?
We're in the lottery
12
now,
right now?
for sure. We're in the lottery.
What are we, like 12 right now, hitting? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Like
Yeah,
11,
because
12.
we won last night, so I don't know for sure where we at.
You know something about that lottery pick y'all get ready going about? I'm just going to jump in for a moment, and bark at y'all for a second. Y'all talking about soft tanks. This is not a soft tank. This is a saving of the season. And reason why I say that, because once we left that bubble situation and everybody went back to normal playing at home, they should have eliminated 10 teams and all that fighting to get in and having the play-ins and all that. So that allowed teams to extend and have a chance to be in something that they don't deserve to be in. Point blank. That's a host. They need to stop that. Okay. Second thing is, with the soft tank going on right now. Hold on one second.
To get it also to interject on your point, that's why trades won't happen, so they can keep their teams together.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And so I know this is the biggest
everything good. Now go ahead. I gotta jump out and do something.
All right, Boogie.
All right, Boogie.
So the thing is, I'm not a fan of this theory, right? But the further along, the more we kick the can down the road, the more this is apparent, right? And so I'm gonna add. Oh, Kev left. God dog it. But the more we kick the can down the road, the more you realize that there was moves that could have been done to shore up, like when there were holes in the boat. When there were holes in the boat, the front office could have done something. Like when they benched Kemba and Derrick Rose was hurt, and Alec Burks and a combo guard off the bench was the starting point guard, and a combo guard off the bench was the backup point guard. They could have easily traded or signed a veteran point guard just to hold it in the road until Kimba got back right and Derrick Rose returned. Like, give you an example. They could have easily traded for Rajon Rondo. Easily. And what do you give up to get a Rajon Rondo? Nothing.
Potato chips.
Right. They could have easily
Quarter water.
they could have easily traded for a Rajon Rondo, somebody to hold it in the road until the point guard situation got back right. And you know what you would have had going into the playoffs if you made it? 3 veteran point guards. They didn't do that. When Mitchell Robinson was hurt and Nerlens Noel was hurt, and we were rotating centers in and out, one center would be out, the other one would be 50%. The center that's at 50% would be playing. Y'all saw it. Y'all remember Mitch was overweight, out of shape, and hurt. Yeah, right? And instead of the Knicks trading for Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee or what's the backup center in Utah?
It used to be Tony Bradley, but he's not with.
Hassan Whiteside. Yeah. Instead of going out and getting a Hassan Whiteside or something like that to hold it in the road, you know what they did? You know what Tibbs did? He started played Taj to death, brought in Jericho Sims for a few minutes, and then you know what I'm saying. The front office is, listen, man. There were a lot of times this year where there could have been minute corrections to hold it in the road, and the front office didn't.
He could have changed things up too, but during this protocol thing too, he could have played things where we would have seen more burn out of the younger guy. He didn't do it. Even during this protocol thing. Right. He didn't do it. Right. Still stuck to his way. Still, like you said, playing Taj and playing other guys too many minutes. He wouldn't play the kids.
Right. But what I'm saying is the front office, though. The front office, in my opinion, has embraced this soft tank. Mm-hmm. And what it is they're only going to move at their pace. Notice when they traded Kevin Knox, they didn't. Here is the telltale sign. You had injuries at point guard. You had deficiencies at point guard. But what you do is you don't trade for a veteran point guard, right? You don't kick the tires on Spencer Dinwiddie. You don't kick the tires on Dennis Schroeder. You trade for another young piece, Cam Reddish, to add to your young core.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Well.
So let me ask you guys a question, because you guys are really firm advocates of this, and I don't ask a question to like try to dissect. I actually really want to know exactly where y'all coming from with it.
Okay.
So in a soft tank, right? Does a soft tank allow development to happen? Like, where is development on a priority list in a soft tank?
Gian, you want to answer that? Hey, you want to jump in right there?
Well, I'll say this. I don't think this is a soft tank. I just don't think they're good enough. So their options they only have one option. Because for me, it all goes back to the draft and free agency, where they screwed up, which is why you traded for Cam Reddish. When you needed a wing, you could have drafted a wing. Instead, you got all these guards. So for me, it all goes back. This whole season goes back to them screwing up 19, trading back. Yeah, you got Grimes, but you still drafted 2 more guards after that instead of drafting your wing. So you traded for Cam Reddish to hide a mistake because you forgot to get one, and the season has not gone good. So for me, it all goes back to that. It never started well.
Right.
So, Hinton, I'm with you, bro. Like, I'm with you that I disagree with it as well. But in order for me to properly combat their stance, I have to know everything about their stance, right?
But they don't talk.
Yeah, they don't talk. That's the
problem. Oh no, I'm talking about Freezy and G.I. I know I can't talk to Rose.
It's not a soft tank. They hands got tied.
Yeah,
it's not a soft tank.
You can't give them a cop out saying it's a soft tank. They ain't no soft tank.
Well. They're just not good enough. It goes back to your bet, and it goes back.
And I'm heading toward. and I'm heading towards that with y'all. But I wanted Freezy and GI to explain to me.
D Poetic, come on, jump in on our side, bro. You want to be right.
No.
On our side, bro.
No, I'm good, yo. I'm just trying to understand exactly where y'all coming from, because then I could say whether you do have legs to it or it's completely ludicrous.
Yeah, when you break this all the way down, this is going straight to the front office. This is what me and Gmo talk about, a lot, on his when we talking. I don't trust them dudes. I don't trust these dudes.
Hey, Hinton, how you feel about them dishing out $35 million for 6 points a game? And you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ancient dinosaur, and I'm talking about Mr. Twig. That's what I'm talking about.
And listen,
$35 million right there. That's all I'm saying.
It is what it is. They tried to run it back, without bringing back Peyton and Bullock, and they tried to get some offense, even though I know who you're talking about. But at the end of the day, it just didn't work. The season is gone to the sugar honey iced tea. So
here's another thing, Freezy. Right now we have the 11th worst record in the league.
Right.
And the thing is, I thought this season that they're having this year would have been last season. So this is what I was expecting from them last year, to be up and down, up and down, up and down, and we got a playoff team out of it. But in my thing, and I told this the last time I saw Freezy, and actually it's come to pass. What should be done eventually must be done immediately. And that was back in December. I told you that. So now that's coming to pass. Now you have to do what you need to do, and you got to play the kids. You got to move the young dudes, and you got to kind of restart this thing.
Right.
So do you think that they will restart it coming February 10th? Do you think we'll see a totally different roster and some of these vets gone and stuff like that? What do you think?
I'm going to say I don't know, but I'm going to say no, because we overvalue our players just like every other team overvalues their players.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So you're going to be
let me just clarify this thing real quick. So let me clarify this thing just real quick. It'll be quick. So after the draft was over, G.I. mentioned that they're going to kick it into a soft tank, because we all agree, like all of us are on the same page about the draft. Like in my opinion, at 18, when Kai Jones was on the board, you could have kept Kai Jones. You could have. I mean, in theory, because if Tibbs is not going to play, if the kid needs time to develop, why not allow him time to develop on our bench, right?
Or you could have gave Atlanta 19 when Cam Reddish was available then, and you would have been able to have him on the roster already instead of trying to fit him in.
I was going to say that about 21, but vice versa. However, we agree, because I just said yesterday that instead of us prolonging this Cam Reddish thing, we could have did that on draft night. He could have went to training camp with us. We could have knew what we had, right? And at a bare minimum, right? We would have known if Cam Reddish is a rotation player or not, because we'd have had him long enough to see how he fits into the system, instead of trading for him about a month ago, what seems like a month ago anyway.
So 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and so G.I. said after they botched the draft, and they botched it, bro. They botched it bad, right? After they botched the draft, G.I. was like, yo, they get ready to kick it into a soft tank because they know they messed up. The guy they wanted was on the board. They couldn't get him. They grabbed Grimes because he was the last person that they saw. And listen, and for those that don't know, Quentin Grimes, they did NBA TV did an interview with Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau was live courtside, and the dude killing everybody during Tom Thibodeau's game was Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes was murdering the NBA prospect right in front of Tom Thibodeau, and Tom Thibodeau was on national TV doing an interview.
Wow.
Right. And so I don't believe that's happenstance. I think they botched the draft, and they was like, yo, who was that kid? Yo, Grimes was, and here we are. And not saying that Grimes is not going to be a good NBA player, because I think he will be. But I think they, to what Hinton was saying. But D Poetic, listen.
What's up?
You want to be on the right side of this soft tank argument early, bro. You don't want to. Okay. Okay. I just need to hear some. Listen, man. There were numerous times for them to self-correct during the season, and they didn't do it. Bro, think about this. Think about this.
But it could be incompetence, not a diabolical plan.
Right.
Really? Really? They didn't keep think about it, they needed wing defenders, right? And they didn't keep Daniel House. They need a point. They need
Daniel House, come on.
I mean, okay. Okay. Oh, so I'm not saying Daniel House is Kawhi Leonard. What I'm saying is we needed wing defenders on the roster. They signed Daniel House, played him limited minutes, and let him walk. And they re-signed Richie A 2 times. The first time he was injured. The first time they signed an injured dude to a 10-day contract, bro.
No, he was
that
injured.
makes
He
no
never
sense,
played.
Freezy.
He never played, actually. And now think about it, his 10-day contract expired, so we actually have an open roster spot now.
They're probably going to sign him again. They're going to re-sign him. Watch.
Nah, they're not, because he's garbage. Hopefully they don't.
Right. What I'm getting at is there were numerous times this season where the front office could have self-corrected, and they chose not to. So to say this is not a soft tank, I think is us putting blinders on.
Nah.
You know what it is, Freezy, too?
I disagree with the soft tank. They're just not good enough.
Yeah, I just think
the schedule is hard.
And in a soft tank, wouldn't all the kids be playing? Like McBride, Sims, instead of Taj, instead of whoever. Isn't that more along the lines of a tank?
No, not in a soft tank. That's a hard tank. In a hard tank, you sit all your vets play the kids.
Or are the veterans not as good as maybe some of our young players?
No, you got the definition wrong. In a hard tank, you don't play vets, you play all kids, and the win-loss record is the win-loss record. In a soft tank, you try to fool your fan base like you're trying to make the playoffs, but really you're trying to get back into the lottery because this team needs an infusion of talent.
Yeah, that's where I'm confused in this conversation of the reason and why you think is a soft tank, or the reason and why you think we're not playing. I think it's more along the lines of what Hinton is saying, is that we're not good enough. You know what I'm saying? And some of the kids are just getting better faster than the veterans are. So it seems like, this kid Grimes should be playing over Fournier, right? But in all actuality, he's probably just a better physical specimen, better defensively. He's catch and shoot the same as Evan Fournier. I guess probably just the defensive part is the better part of his game than Fournier's is. But yeah, I'm confused when it comes to this conversation of soft tank, because it just, to me, when I look at a soft tank even, or a hard tank, or whatever kind of tank you want to put it, it just looks different than what's happening. I just don't think that
Here's another thing, Freezy, to your point about tricking the fan base into thinking that we're making the playoffs and stuff of that nature. You do understand we are the most valued basketball enterprise in the NBA, right? So no matter if we win 10 games, 12 games, 21 games, 35 games, the merch is still going to sell. The seats are still going to be taken. So
yeah, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point.
Right.
So for that, let me hard tank and put myself in a better draft position.
I'm coming from the perspective where I don't think it's a soft tank at all. I agree with more so what Hennon's saying, but my point is it's a failed season. That's where I'm coming from.
Y'all so naive, bro.
And I'm thinking that we still got time to right the ship, but I might be naive. I think that we can do something. We can play better, at least, that we have in the first half.
It was always going to be a failed season.
Okay.
For the simple fact that you did what you did last year, and you knew you had minimal opportunities to repeat it or upgrade it. So anytime you start here and go down, it's failure. Now, do you have a plan to rise back up? And that's what we're all hoping, because none of us know.
Right.
And we're going to find out sooner than later, because time is going to keep ticking. Time's good. Leon Rose and staff, they can't stop time. So the summer's going to come and next season's going to come. and the proof is going to have to be in the pudding.
It was
But
kind of
you,
like, weren't we like in the same position last year in the first half of the season? We were like,
exact same position.
we're like, we're I don't know if that soft tank came into conversation last year, probably because we weren't even good enough to think that we were good.
Yeah.
But then, you know, the second half and the talk was the schedule of the second half is going to bury us and this and that. And we persevered, right? We persevered. Now, can lightning strike twice? I don't know.
Well, the difference between last year and this year, Eddie, is that we had better wing defenders in our starting unit last year, which contained dribble penetration, which is, I mean, if you do that in the NBA, you won half the battle. And another thing, too, is that we did not have a buzzsaw of a schedule last year like we do this season. So I think there could be differences.
And also, they ran into a lot of teams that had the monster last year. So, they, like a lot of things
They
went right
did.
for the Knicks last year.
Right.
Yeah, indeed.
We're fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think the first half of this season, too, they were very fortunate with that as well.
I created the soft tank many, many months ago because I knew we would be here. I knew other teams. First of all, I don't just start by analyzing the Knicks. You have to analyze other teams before you can know where you stand. That's how business operates. And I saw every other team got better. Now, I knew there'd be injuries. I knew there'd be chemistry issues. But you just can't deny the level of talent other teams in the East put on. Some teams just had to get healthy. They already had the talent. They just had to get healthy. And again, Charlotte and Atlanta had an offseason that we needed to have. Then Charlotte went around and had an offseason we needed to have. I watched the Cavs starting to figure it out. So there are teams making the moves that the Knicks need to make. And when I see they made them and we didn't, I just quantifiably said,
facts, AD.
The fact that you didn't upgrade this team means that you didn't want to win. So it has to be a soft tank. There's no way you're going out there with this team. I got to trust that Leon Rose is smarter than this. I got to trust that Tibbs is smarter than this. I got to trust that Dolan is smarter than this. And so they had to know that they could not win. They had to know that we were going to lose.
Right. And the thing, too, is you can't do a hard tank halfway through your contract. The Knicks Leon Rose got 5 years, right? You can't wait till the end of your second year and then say, you know what? Nah, instead of building this way, we're going to change directions and go this way. You have to do a soft tank.
And that's another thing. I don't even think that that's in Thibodeau's character, to be honest with you.
No, not Thibodeau. Rose.
Leon Rose. But who's playing the people? Like, so then like Rose put the kibosh on Thibodeau by signing Fournier and getting Kemba.
No, Fournier,
gave him
Fournier's contract is for big fish hunting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another reason why these guys are signed. That's why they have these contracts.
Right, because they do.
So when that disgruntled star comes, you have Fournier, who's an 18-point scorer, you know, and they could fool you by saying he scored 18 a game. You know, they can get him out of here for a big fish contract. You know,
right? I agree with that.
So,
but yeah, I just need more info. I guess I need more info as to why.
Yo, how much Donovan Mitchell?
Why they faking it? Why they faking it? Basically, why they faking it? You know what I'm saying? Why they?
They're not faking it. They're trying to stay competitive.
Why they faking winning? Why they faking winning?
Because they're trying to stay competitive and win games for the big fish, so he could see the talent around him and be like, oh, I could go there. You know, and maybe all they need is me and somebody else, you know, and we could do something there with some of the players that they're also trying to develop. The Knicks is trying to play this both ways.
All right, they're trying to do what the Clippers did years ago. That's basically what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But
and what the Nets did also.
Yeah, it's not really working.
So Hinton, in that thought process, right? Is it working?
No.
Okay, good.
But see, my ideology is, man, just build your own basketball team. But
right.
I'm all about tearing it down and getting blue chippers because that's what I want to do. You're not gonna win no championship. You're not gonna win no championship without no blue chippers. So
finally, somebody agree with me,
and that's gonna cost. You know, you need to build your own basketball.
That's been our
team.
worst enemy our whole lives. Like we can't really get that pick. We can't. RJ's a great player, but we couldn't get number 2 to get Ja. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we never able to get that blue chipper, no matter how we can have the worst record in the NBA and we'll still fall to like fourth, right at the threshold of the top 3 best players available. That's
Right.
just the story of our lives. But so then, why do we think it's going to be different?
Well, with blue chippers, you still have to develop them.
That's true.
LeBron James only comes once a generation.
That's also true.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to do it though.
Of course, or put yourself in a position to be in that sweepstakes.
Exactly, because you can't
in draft and in development.
Because even though Embiid didn't go number 1, he still went number 3. He should have been number 1 in that draft. But you would be happy with Embiid and Ben Simmons on this team, even though Ben Simmons is a mental midget. But you know,
right.
You know, but you would be happy with those 2 guys because you have 2 blue chippers and you could work around that. You know.
Correct.
Right.
Like Giannis didn't become a crown jewel to about his 3rd or 4th year.
Yeah, but see, that's lucky too because they got him at 15.
Yeah, part of it is development.
But my point is that even when you see that potential, you still have to develop it. That was my point, and why it took 3 or 4 years.
And it's also on Giannis to develop too. That's a 2-way street. Like,
of course,
that's what people don't get too. Development is a 2-way street.
Hold
on.
Of course. What? Y'all just gonna blow by the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks also had the number 2 pick in the draft the year before.
With Jabari Parker?
Before Jabari.
Are we talking about that because it matters?
And if Jabari and listen, we look at Jabari Parker now, but Jabari Parker coming out of Duke was man. Listen.
Oh no! Without knee injuries, he would have been a 20+ scorer throughout his career.
You know that. After Giannis though,
he still played a long time in the league. So you know when you drafting these players, you want them to play 10, 12 years.
Yeah,
but you want the blue chipper because the blue chippers are the ones that's going to get you the championships.
Busts do exist. Busts do exist.
I agree with you, but what my point is Jabari Parker on when they drafted him was a blue chipper, right? Now the injuries and all of that stuff derailed what he could have been, but they also made moves to help Giannis develop, right? So they made the move, and I know this is gonna sound so crazy for people that you know don't pay attention to trade rumors and stuff. So the Detroit Pistons were trying to trade Chris Middleton and Spencer Dinwiddie to the Milwaukee Bucks for the Bucks' young point guard. I think his name was Brandon Knight, right?
Okay.
But the Bucks were like, "Yo, what do we do with this dude Dinwiddie? Wasn't he like?" He don't fit the mold of a you know what I'm saying? Nah, we don't want him. The Pistons damn near they were like, yo, we want this dude. So listen, okay, so y'all don't want Dinwiddie, we'll give you this dude Chris Middleton. Right? And so what people don't realize is the Bucks not only developed Giannis, but they developed Chris Middleton at the same time.
Yeah, they got a partner in crime for him.
Yeah, at the same time. So to D Poetic's point, while Chris Middleton developed into a blue chipper, right? Because he wasn't a blue chip, he was a second-round pick.
That's what I was going to say because he didn't even start in the league. Like he was a G leaguer at the beginning, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But what it is, and this is why I tell D Poetic I'm always right. D Poetic, you want to be right, side with Uncle Freezy, bro.
Please.
You want to be right, side with Uncle Freezy.
Giannis wasn't even expecting to be that good, yo.
Yeah, but listen, Cully.
How you so right though?
Because your scouting department has to be number 1.
Of course, we agree to that.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. If you want to be right, side with Uncle Freezy, bro. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is the Knicks, in my opinion, just got a scouting department in place that we feel confident can identify talent that other teams can't identify. Right? That's my opinion. The only thing though is when you have eagle eye scouts, you have to watch out for other people in your front office that don't allow them to bring in prospects that don't look like they can pop right away, right? I'm talking about the penny pinchers, like your capologists, because your penny pinchers and your capologists look at all the kids as assets.
That's why we have Walt Perrin. That's what
Right.
was stolen from Utah.
Walt Perrin, right?
That's his job.
Right.
I think he's talking about Brock Aller, actually.
No.
I'm talking about.
definitely Walt Perrin.
He's talking about
I
the
trust
front
Walt
office,
Perrin.
but that's
No,
what
but
he
he's
got.
saying the penny pincher
That's
in
Walt
the
Perrin because
organization
Utah
is
can't spend money like that. Right? You know, nobody's going to Utah.
the
They have to always be
capologist
careful
for the
with their
Knicks
money.
is Brock Aller. Walt Perrin is a scout.
Right. But what I'm saying
We're
is
talking about the scouting.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this.
Talked about the penny pincher.
Oh my God.
Let me get to my point though. Let me get to my point.
All right, get to the point so we can get it.
Eddie, see if you shut the hell up, I can get to Eddie, see like talk. No, don't talk. Talk. No, don't talk.
No, because you're saying the scout. I know who the scout is Walt Perrin, but then you're talking about the penny pincher, and I know who the capologist is in
Brock
the front
Lesnar.
office, and that's Brock
Yeah,
Aller.
you can't make
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar, I'm weak.
No, but what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. Like if Utah's like when Walt Perrin drafted Donovan Mitchell, if Utah's front office had penny pinchers and were ready to trade, they could have traded Donovan Mitchell before he became Spider. Is what I'm getting at. You have to scout this guy and then immediately get him to deep poetic in his developmental state, right? To get him fast tracked on their program to become the guy. Like immediately get him from Walt Perrin to Johnny Bryant. You feel me? And so now the Knicks have that combination here, right? And so now you just got so deep poetic. When you mentioned the point where we draft at or whatever in the lottery, to me it doesn't matter because I trust Walt Perrin as a scout, as an eagle-eye scout, to pick the best prospect regardless where we pick.
And just to veggie back off your point real quick, right? Desmond Bane might be the most improved player this year, and he was picked 30th last year.
Right.
Get that
right.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I'll do you even one better. I'm not like the topper guy. I'm not the dude that be like, oh, my car is faster than your guy. But what I will say to you is this. You know who else was selected 30th and developed into a star? Jimmy Butler. Guess who his coach was? Tom Thibodeau.
Oh, here we go.
So listen. So and the thing I'm getting at is this. I agree with I agree with GI in the soft tank thing because I think our talent, the organizational talent right now is not on the floor. I think our organizational talent is the scouting and developmental people that we have in place. So even whether you change the head coach or not, as long as you have Walt Perrin and Johnny Bryant, I think you have a recipe and Kenny Payne because Kenny Payne used to take blue chippers at Kentucky and turn them into the number one pick. Don't underestimate Kenny Payne and Johnny Bryant, the combination together, right? In game, I think they're trash as assistants, right? But long term, I think these dudes take guys like a Emmanuel Quickly and turn him into a mid-second round pick into a guy that eventually you may be able to trade for a valuable piece, right? That's what I'm getting at. That's why I say this is a soft tank because you can't halfway through your regime, you can't say we're tearing it down and going to build all over from scratch because people are going to want you to be fired, right? They're like, wait a minute, you take it halfway through? Nah, get these dudes out of here. But in a soft tank, you can do the same things, right? And still accumulate assets like Fourniers and stuff so that you can do like what Hinton was saying about going out and getting other guys. Because you can keep their value at a certain level at the same time developing the kids underneath, right? That's what I'm getting at with the soft tank. That's why I think what G.I. said was brilliant. Not the fact that this is just a failed season. Everybody, everywhere, failed, and this season should be scrapped. I don't think it's that.
That's the equivalent of the Papa Smurfs leading the Smurfs up the hill, and everybody going, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? You ever took a ride from Coney Island to the Bronx? You ever took a ride on the train from Coney Island to the Bronx? You fall asleep. You fall asleep. You wake up. Fall asleep again.
What we want to do is have smart basketball conversations, bro. We can't just sit here and blame Julius Randle for everything every day.
Yes, we know because he's in a conundrum.
Yesterday,
yes, because we know because he got $117 million to be in a conundrum. That man looked like a pregnant woman last night, laboring all over the floor. He didn't know. The first half. This is against Sacramento for crying out loud.
This is the conversation that y'all want to have.
No. I'm not gonna go there with you because I already fireman carried you on Sunday with that. Right?
Oh, man.
Here's where I'm going here. Right? As you talk about front office, and before I even go, let me say peace. Let me say peace to the chat, peace to Nick Nation.
Peace, AD.
When you're talking about looking at certain guys, remember when LaMelo Ball? Remember when his father was a so-called joke, and he kept telling people, "My last son is gonna be my greatest," right? And people were killing him and this, that, and the third, and he went to Lithuania, whatever. From then, I remember a scout got on one of these things and he was like, "Yo, this dude is the truth. At 15, by the time he's ready, he's going to be the truth." How is it that this management staff traded back into the first round, got another pick to make sure that they could get an Obi, right? And even to get a Quickly. But yet still, from the rumors that we heard, Golden State didn't want their pick. Charlotte was iffy on theirs. And yet still, your draft people could not force you and not force a move to go all the way up to get what you've been missing for the last 20 years. That's it.
Well, I think this conversation was had. Like, the Knicks overvalue their players and what they have and what they think they have. I don't think we ever had something good enough. Like, the talk was we can go up to Golden State and give her our first round pick and Mitchell Robinson. I don't think that was enough to get Wiseman. I don't think we just don't have enough to get these players. We don't have enough to jump that high. I would have loved to have LaMelo. He was one of my favorite players in the draft, but we just don't have it.
And Freezy, here's another thing too. Hard tank, soft tank, any type of tank, it doesn't matter. You still got to develop your guys. And that's first priority. Because you could draft great. And if you don't have a good developmental staff, what good was the draft pick?
Right.
So that's what we've been missing, and that's what we need. And that should be priority uno.
So do you not have faith in Kenny Payne and Johnny Bryant as developers?
No.
I would say
I'm going to say the jury's still out. I'm going to say the jury's still out.
That's a smart answer.
Because I don't want to go yay or nay on it while it's still in the midst of the process of like a Obi and a Quickly and a Grimes and stuff of that nature. But it's something that regardless, it has to be prioritized because that's how your guys grow. Even when the guys you don't keep, you still grow them because then you want to maximize your trade value, right? So you got to develop.
Yeah.
All those guys do is open the gym and roll the balls out for guys to shoot up, get extra shots.
Oh, man.
Stop it.
I think they do more than that, Anthony.
Come on, AD.
Stop it. We're here giving guys credit. We're getting $4 million and multi-million dollars to sit on the sideline and pass Tibbs the clipboard. Get what?
I wouldn't say that.
Yo, I got to tell wifey to put milk in your cereal in the morning. I'm not sure what they put in there this morning.
She got to be hot this morning, G.I. She got to be hot.
Hey, so the point that I'm getting at is I think all of us are correct to a certain extent, right? Like I do believe the season is a failed season, right? But I think part of it is is a failed season and a aspect of we could have done some things to try to limp to the playoffs, but instead we chose to let the kids play because if say for instance, if you have the point guard situation, the point guard paradox that we have, we could have easily have gone out and traded for Rajon Rondo, bro. Easily, right? To at least help, limp to the playoffs. Maybe get to the 9 seed, and then get the brakes beat off for us, and then go to the draft. But we didn't choose to do that. We could still to this day, man. Listen, Harrison Barnes is so available, it's ridiculous, right? We could have easily traded nothing for Harrison Barnes in order to help us limp to the playoffs. But why, when you want to give Grimes and Cam Reddish minutes, right? So what I'm saying, the whole thing about the failed season thing, we could have fixed this easily. When RJ Barrett was struggling with his shot, we could have easily went out and got a veteran scorer. To sit RJ so that he could, kind of maneuver through his thing, through whatever it is that he's struggling with. But we didn't. We let RJ shoot his way through it. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying what G.I. is saying. I'm on the side of that soft tank thing right now. I don't want to be, because it means my franchise has given up on a season and has chosen to do the talent acquisition route. But what he says makes sense, though. After the draft, after they botched the draft, bro, you could tell. You could tell. And I heard dudes was trying to tell me that leaving the draft, that they knew that they were going to sign Kemba Walker the whole time. What?
Nah, that was last minute, I think.
Yes.
Kemba was a throw-in. Like, that was a surprise.
First of all, Kemba was on contract. He got to get released.
Yeah, he wasn't even a thought for them.
Right.
Oklahoma City was probably holding them out to see if they could do something with the draft, at the beginning of the season. And when they saw they couldn't do anything, they just let him go. But
right.
I want to know why you think.
They also knew about his.
I want to know why you guys think that the draft was a debacle, though. Like, we didn't draft well this year. Like, we didn't get Quentin Grimes, we didn't get Miles McBride, we didn't get Jericho Sims, we didn't get a stash.
Yeah.
Why get a draft
because we didn't get Kai Jones?
Why get a draft and stash when you could have picked Herb Jones?
I know we had this conversation yesterday.
Because why?
BJ Boston.
Wins. Yeah, BJ Boston.
BJ Boston could have been something.
Yeah, because
he plays the same
scored
position.
14 against us in the game that he played.
Yeah, I give you BJ. I give you BJ.
So there was, and you needed a wing because you traded for Cam.
Major pause.
So,
Pause, homie.
Right.
Pause.
Yeah, but
yeah, go ahead.
Look, he was on that one. Good look. I heard it back.
Yeah, but it was just,
no doubt, my guy, no doubt. Go ahead.
Like I said, they just screwed it up, And like I said, the whole season from the draft day on, it's just been all crap. That's why I'm saying they're not good enough.
I've never agreed with that scenario of bust draft. Like, I think Quentin Grimes. I've always liked Quentin Grimes from the get-go.
Yeah, but when you look at the total of our draft, and I hate to keep going back to it, but the Nets had a better draft than the Knicks.
Because of the Kessler Edwards guy and
Cam Thomas.
They had a pretty good draft. Yeah, they had a pretty good draft.
And they got Deron Sharp. So, they had a better draft than
Kessler
had a good
Edwards
draft.
We could have used.
But I mean, what does that,
And they had lower picks.
Yeah, they did their thing.
Kessler Edwards.
Kudos to them, you know what I'm saying? You can't win them all. It's like.
But those picks look so much better when you got blue chippers in front of them.
I agree with Anthony D on that, and you're right, Eddie C. You can't win them all, but we've been losing them all for the past 25 years. That's the problem.
Yeah, we actually had a decent draft compared to many other drafts. Absolutely.
That's true. That's true. I ain't
And
gonna
so
front on that.
the botch here, Eddie.
But you could have, had a better one. Is all I'm saying. Like there was,
Right.
like you could have,
Of course.
they could have had a way better one.
Right.
Of course.
I'll give you an example. Right. Two dudes that were available on draft night. You could have had those dudes within training camp. You didn't even have to draft the guy. Right. You could have once the Pelicans got Devontae Graham, you knew Kira Lewis Jr. was available. You're like, who is Kira Lewis Jr.? Well, he's a point guard, right? You could have traded 21 for Kira Lewis Jr., right? You could have traded 19 for Cam Reddish and came into camp with dudes with a couple years under their belt, or and Kira Lewis Jr. 1 year under his belt, and he could have competed for point guard minutes, right? There were a lot of different directions that you could have gone in, but the Knicks didn't go in it. They just botched the draft.
The Cam Reddish situation, I'm gonna chime in on the Cam Reddish situation. I don't think he was available for that price at that point in time. Like the process of Cam Reddish getting traded was to see how much they can get out of him. And at the end of the day, they saw until a couple of weeks ago that the most they could get was that pick that we gave him and Kevin Knox.
Nah,
so
Eddie
I don't know if
Steve.
he would.
Nah,
I
Eddie
don't know
Steve.
if
No,
he would have been available at that point in time for like
that's not true. He was
19 or
available
20.
He was available at the
available
draft. That
going
was
into the draft.
that was the big. That was the news. Like he
But
was
for that
available.
price, they were probably
for
looking
a
for
first
something
round pick.
more than what they got at the end of the day. And that stuff happens. Like people just try to see how much value their players have and hold them and hold them and hold them until they see that they can't no more. And they say, okay, this is what it is. So I'm not sure if that was the case.
Let me ask you a question, guys. Do you guys know the names of our scouts and the names of our data analysts and the names of our director of development? Does anybody know the name of those guys?
If you just looked it up,
I just looked it up.
I guess not, yo.
So it's very interesting to know who these people are, because these are the people that are in charge of all these things that we're talking about.
Steve Trash, John Trash. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
John
exactly.
Trash.
Michael
Say,
Trash.
don't do that.
Wait, D-Smoke, you talking about the scouts?
Yeah, I talk about like lead scouts, director of scouting department, director of development. Like, for example, did you know
What's
that
David Griffin thingy? What's his name? Whatever his name was from the Cavs when they used to coach Black.
Griffin, yeah.
Steve Black. Was
I
it
thought he
Griffin or
was a
Black?
consultant. I thought he was Griffin. I thought he was a consultant, the one from that was a great overseas coach. I thought he was a consultant directly to Dolan.
No,
Yeah,
he
Black-
was.
Black-
He
he
was
did
Steve
something.
Mills. He was Steve Mills' best friend.
Yeah, he's Steve Mills' best friend from college
Right.
and ish like that.
Oh,
yeah.
all right.
Okay.
Yeah, you had that.
Do you know that his job? You know, Aaron Brooks' job title is a two-way liaison.
No way.
Yeah,
Going up to Sims and McBride.
Aaron Brooks.
But Aaron Brooks is a rock star in the coach. Aaron Brooks is starting at he's gonna be somebody. Don't sleep on Aaron Brooks, bro. It's a lady in that front office. I can't remember her
There's a
name.
couple of them that
Yeah.
have high positions here.
Right.
But I'm just looking
It's
through.
interesting stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's not something we talk about, so I figured why not bring it to
Yeah,
light.
but I don't know. I still go back to this. I like the Grimes pick, man. I think that everybody says that RJ is like Jimmy. I think Grimes is more like Jimmy than RJ.
Here's the problem, Eddie. Say you had a major void at 6'9" players. So how do you go bring in another 6'4" player? I thought Grimes was 6'6". So
Nah,
that-
he's 6'4".
So that's where the Grimes pick and over Kai Jones makes no sense, because you need more depth at wing, and drafting Grimes with talent put you in the log jam. That's why it was a bad.
I guess, because if you want to put RJ at the 2, I guess you're 100% right. You're 100% right, because then if RJ's the 2 and Cam, hopefully Cam Reddish is the 3, that means Grimes has to play the bench, right? But I think the guy that they were looking at was Troy Murphy, and he got picked like 3
Troy
spots.
Murphy, yeah.
And Chris Duarte was another one that they were looking at, and he skyrocketed up the draft board. We didn't even have a chance to sniff him, right? Even though there were rumors that we were trying to move up and get those guys,
quote unquote.
But sometimes the penny pinchers, like Uncle Freezy says, don't say, hey, this is not worth the while of us giving up this pick, the next pick to get up to 13 to get up Duarte. This is not worth our while to give up this pick or this player to move 4 or 5 spots to get up Troy Murphy Jr.
I don't get
right?
that.
Now let me ask you a question, right? When they gave up the 19 and 21, right, for the 25th, right? Did they still have their second round picks intact?
Yeah,
I think they did. Yeah, remember, but they traded
They
back.
did
'cause
some
they had
trade with
32.
Oklahoma City, if I'm not mistaken.
Give a second round pick.
They traded back. Well,
Okay.
Jeremiah Earl Robinson.
So right. The 32nd, and they traded OKC for the third. Right. So now my thing is that why even give up the 19 and 21st? And you still could have gotten Grimes.
Right.
That's the one that boggles my brain.
I don't know if they wanted
Never
to pay
understood
2
that.
first round picks. It goes back to the cap topology. They don't want to pay 2 first round picks, so they drafted one at a lesser value, the player that they really wanted, I guess.
Well, how
at
much is a
25?
first round pick compared to a second round pick? Especially, I mean, out the lottery, of course.
If you look at Grimes's money, I guess you can see how much around there, how much.
Okay, no doubt, we could do that. We could do that.
They're worth.
Well, remember,
Because I'm saying, James Dolan has deep. James Dolan has deep pockets and the most valuable franchise. So let's give it a couple more million.
No, but then you have to. But then you have every year it goes up, right? The first round pick every year it goes up, and that's guaranteed money. So there's 2 million, then it's 25. Well, let me see it too.
Then you signed Mummy Legs, freaking Noel over there. Unbelievable. Ridiculous.
Yo, Tibbs,
I mean, really.
Tibbs loves him, yo. I'm like, yo.
He does. He does like him a lot.
He has his favorites.
Yeah, he's like, oh, every time Noel is
Playing
back, just for a little
favoritism.
bit, Tibbs gotta throw him out there, yo. It's like, yo, he loves that man, Noel.
Oh, God, I can't. I get
It's
no idea thinking
mind-boggling
about
how they don't play Deuce. It's just crazy. I seen him play the G League game, and
he's making that experience, yo.
So he's making 2.
Grimes 2.1.
Yeah. Right. Then 2.3 about, then 2.4 about, and then last year would be 4.2.
So then you have to duplicate that if you have 2 first round picks, right? And they were higher than this, so they're a little bit more money than this, right? 100,000 here or there.
Let me see how much.
If they're good enough, then you have to give them qualifying offers and you have to sign them, and then you also have to account for the cap. So if you're saving 2 million, the cap here, 2 million there, 2 million there, it adds up to 6 million. You know what I'm saying? They were just trying to push that down the road so that they don't have to pay him this year, so they can see what they do. In what I can say was a bust was the free agency. Now there I can say that was a total debacle. The free agency was trash. And we still got lucky getting Kemba, and he still sucked for us. So that's how trash that was.
Well, they did save a couple of mil because Deuce, for example, he's not even making a mil this year. But next year he'll make a 1.5 about, and then 2023-24 is actually a club option at 1.9. And then I think 2024-25 says qualifying offer of 2.3, and then it becomes a restricted free agent.
That's penny pitching type ish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you're just saving a couple of million at the end of the day.
Pinching. That's at the end of the day, it makes sense. The Picasso makes sense at the end of the day, but it looks horrible at plain sight.
Did I just hear we got lucky getting Kemba, but he still sucked?
Yeah. We didn't know we was gonna get Kemba. We had no point guard before we got Kemba. Or we thought we didn't have a point guard. So we signed Kemba.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yes, you did.
You think the rest? Hold on. You think the rest of the league was lining up to sign a man with Bob, bone on bone?
No.
That's what goes for Evan too.
But before that, and probably, I mean, you can't speak for everybody, but before we got Kemba, like when the free agency class was, who did we resign? We resigned Noel. We resigned Alec Burks. We signed Evan Fournier to a $17 million contract. That was the class, right? And then the next day after we signed Kemba, before that though, everybody was like, "Yo, what did we do?" And then we got Kemba. Everybody started feeling a little bit better about the situation. Like, okay,
Mhm.
so this was in the
Sigh of
works. No,
relief.
the blah blah blah.
They
This
thought it
and
was
that.
the old Kemba, that's why.
Right. So, and that's what I'm saying. We thought we got lucky, and he's not the guy.
No, I refuse to be labeled in that camp because I never thought that we got lucky. Sorry. I didn't think that we got lucky with that. I didn't think Fournier was a good move, but we're not gonna rehash that right now.
Yeah, I mean that's opinion. Yeah, I mean I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was all world, but I'm like, okay, he can probably play point guard for us. We got him at $8 million. That's pretty cheap. He's coming back. Everything that came with it. I wasn't mad at it. I'm still not mad at it. It didn't work out. I mean, what you gonna do?
So instead of the guys that we got, we could have gotten Isaiah Jackson, Usman Garuba, Josh Christopher.
I would have took Usman Garuba.
You don't know who he is? He played at Barcelona.
That's what I would have took him. I would have took him. I like.
Oh yeah. I love his game. I agree with you.
Oh, Isaiah Jackson,
versatile defender.
Oh yeah, and he could pass the ball and he could play the three. Like he could do a lot of things. That guy. Day'Ron Sharp, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Herbert Jones.
We actually drafted him.
Kessler Edwards.
We drafted him. Now think about it. We drafted Jeremiah Robinson Earl and traded him to Oklahoma State. Yeah, for the 2 picks that got us Rokas Jokovitis and Miles McBride. Yeah.
Right. That's very true.
I don't think that's bad. But we see we say that now, like half of the season through and injuries. So Herbert Jones got playing time and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But at the beginning, sometimes the thinking is different, right? Like at the beginning, I wanted to trade for Darren Fox, right? I thought Darren Fox was the one. I'm like, and now I'm not so sure.
I was kind of weird that we didn't go with Ayo. I thought that was very weird.
That would have been something. That's another one. That would have been something.
That was very weird.
That would have been.
Well, he's where he needs to be though. He's in his hometown, so I guess that worked out well for him.
And he's playing well, and he's getting a lot of minutes too, because of all the injuries.
I'm trying to think who's a player I would have liked over Grimes because I really like Grimes.
No, actually, no, I like Grimes.
I like Trey Mann. No, I would have liked Trey Mann, but he got picked. He got picked 20th,
by
I think, by OKC.
He got 18th.
Right in front of us. Yeah, right in front of us.
So I think if the Knicks, if the Knicks had the chance to get Trey Mann, they would have drafted 19 Trey Mann. But when he got picked, that's when they traded that pick to Charlotte and moved down on the draft.
Where's Kai Jones?
Charlotte.
He's with Charlotte.
No, I know, but he's not playing. I mean,
at
home.
Nah, man, he's barely getting burned.
Barely getting burned.
And they need big guys, so.
Jalen Johnson too with Atlanta, he's barely getting burned. He's getting a lot of G League time though, but that's about it.
Yeah, there was a lot of Jalen Johnson love. I liked AU though. I liked AU.
And the funny thing is, Jericho Sims was Kai Jones's backup.
Wow.
And Jericho Sims was Mo Bamba's backup.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all see? Did y'all know that?
Mo Bamba's backup?
Yeah, he's old as dirt. He's like, for a rookie, he's like 24. He's like 23, 24.
Yeah.
But he does something that you can't teach, man. He's bouncy as hell, and he's strong. You know what I'm saying? And to get that at 55, man, that's a coup. That's a feather in our hat, man.
Yeah.
We also messed out on this guy too that was looking at Delano Banton that plays with Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto's another galaxy away from us when it comes to drafting and
development. Oh yeah.
They're like the model. They are like the model for us. Like for me, like I want to be Toronto. So
I said all that to say we could have done better, but I think we did hit right with the Quentin Grimes pick though.
I just didn't like where we picked him at. That was my deal. My deal is I didn't like where we picked him at. That's
I think Freezy Phoenix Suns was very high on him, and if Phoenix had like the 27th pick or something like that, and if we didn't pick him at 25, like we traded down 2 times and still got him. But if I don't think we didn't pick him there, we would have not been able to get him.
But Eddie, see, there was an offer from the Houston Rockets. They had 2 first-round picks, and they wanted to take those 2 first-round picks and give us 19, or us give them 19. What did they pick? 23 and 24? Is that what they were picking?
Right, I think so.
The Rockets, 23, 24.
They wanted to do that with us?
Yeah, and we chose not to because we had
Oh, because we didn't
Quentin
want the two.
Grimes.
We don't want the 2 first-round picks.
And lost
Yeah,
Josh
We
Christopher.
only
because we were
wanted
trying
to
to pinch
draft
penny.
one.
Yeah, because in theory, that would have gave us 3 first-round picks. We'd have been picking 21, 23, and 24.
And in essence, that's exactly what we did with the Cam Reddish thing. Charlotte probably would have conveyed this year. Right? They're like top 7. That means it conveys. If they were below that 16, then it didn't convey. If they were 16, 15, 14, it didn't convey. But it looks like they might be in the 18, 19, 20th range. And that means it's going to convey next year. We would have had 2 first-round picks again next year. And I'm not sure if we want to do that either.
Yeah, well.
The logistics behind that crap, I have no idea because I ain't working with them. But it sounds like that's what they want to do, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it sounds like, man, it sounds like this pinch and penny thing has gone to the maximum, bro.
Gone too far?
Yeah, because in theory, you pinched pennies at the trade deadline last year, and the money you saved, you signed Norvel Pell. Right?
Uh-huh.
So what the hell were we doing? Right? And then this year, the pennies that we saved, we signed Taj Gibson to $5 million a year instead of the vet minimum 2.8. So what were we really doing? Is this just an exercise, or was there some type of method to their madness?
There's debatable type stuff. There's debatable type. Like we paid what his name, the point guard from Boston. We gave him 2 10-day contracts. He got paid probably like $300,000 for nothing.
Yeah, and the thing is we waited, right? We waited to sign Derrick Rose to the last minute, and we went over the cap to sign Derrick Rose. Why?
Because we at that point it was feasible to get Kemba, so we wanted Kemba to sign Kemba, and then sign Rose with the bird rights.
How about they gave Tibbs what he wanted? Taj, Rose, the old team from Bulls.
In the 90s. Damn near the 90s. I'm playing.
Yeah, so they gave him what he wanted.
Right.
He wanted those guys.
I think the draft, Thibodeau has more hands on the draft than he does on free agency. I think free agency is more of a money thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So this is what we need. This is how much money we can do to get it. And we're going to do that. And, obviously he's consulted, but he's not like, I don't want that player or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the draft, his fingerprints are all over this draft. Did he draft? Who was last year's pick? The pick before the draft
Obi?
before the Grimes. Okay, Obi,
right?
And then also the high picks are also part of more upper echelon.
I don't think he had anything to do with Obi.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think he wanted no parts of Obi. You can tell by how he moved now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. Well,
he had a hand in quickly, but I don't think he had a hand in Obi.
Yeah. Him and Andy Greer. The story came out. Tibbs and Andy Greer identified quick. So I saw Quickly play at Kentucky, right? Live. Right? And nobody can tell me that Quickly wasn't a first round talent. When I saw Quickly, he was by far better than Ashton Higgins. Who?
But he wasn't better than Tyrese Maxey.
No, them two together were great. Right? Those two together, they were great because they provided balance on the floor. Now, what was to their detriment is both guys were the same size,
the same player,
right? The same type, the same type of I'll defer only if I only defer if you're hot. If you're hot, I'll defer. But if I'm going to get mine. Emmanuel Quickly was the SEC Player of the Year, even with Tyrese Maxey on his team.
Very true.
Right.
And in all the mock drafts, he was picked to go in the second round. Nobody really had him in the first.
Yeah, I saw when I saw quick. My immediate thing is how come Ashton Higgins is starting over Emmanuel Quickly, and they were about to make that change before COVID hit. When COVID hit, that scrapped everything. Going into the tournament, they had already anointed Emmanuel Quickly to start at point guard, but the season got shut down. So, but yeah, and does anybody in here know who Ashton Higgins is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and he's nowhere to be found. I think he's playing in Europe somewhere.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, man.
So just to shift gears real quick, we got Memphis coming up on Wednesday. Memphis is one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They're third in the West. And last night could be a little deceiving because everybody looks good and happy when you're winning, right?
Right.
But we've seen with this team when the games get tough and you have to play 4 quarters, they usually don't respond very well together. So what are you guys looking for on Wednesday? And what do you guys think will happen?
I'll go first, I guess.
Yeah, start anybody.
Well, they're on a road trip, Memphis. So hopefully we're able to get them. They played yesterday against Philly, a hard game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we're able to get one of their bad games or a game that they don't play as well, and we can stay in there with them. I'm checking to see. There's no definite lineup yet for that game, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be an underdog.
Now, for me, I think it's an important game for RJ because Ja's coming in the building, and he hasn't won a game in the Garden yet. They lost last year because they blew the game in the clutch, and then I think in the rookie season he didn't play because he was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, and RJ didn't play well yesterday. So for me, I'm looking at RJ to come back and get this game right.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
But I think it'll be a close game. I still think Memphis is going to win the game because I just think they're a more talented team. And right now, even though they lost last night, I just think that they're just better. But we'll find out.
We go over some team stats with them real quick. They're 4th in the league in points per game at 112. They are 1st in the league in fast break points at 17. They are 1st in the league in points to the paint at 57%. They are 9th in assists. They are 1st in total rebounds, so they control the game. They are also 8th in assist to turnover ratio. They particularly don't shoot the ball too well. Effective field goal percentage to 24th for the league. Free throw percentage to 26th. 3-point percentage to 23rd. 2-point percentage to 21st. Shooting as a whole, they're only in the middle of the pack at 16th. They do put up a lot of field goal attempts, and they are 4th in the league in field goal makes. And defensively, they're kind of in the middle with everything. Nothing too spectacular. They don't guard the 3 very well, so it's important for us to be on that night. As far as the shooting as a whole, they're not a very good defensive team, so keep that in mind.
That's probably why we play them so well, because it looks like their fast break points is what gets them over the hump. And our offense is so slowed down, slow paced, to where probably we get back on D and don't let them get as much.
Right.
Anybody else?
I think we're going to lose by 15. Until we trade for a point guard, we fix that problem. I'll be more positive, and they make a trade or something, because we still don't have a point guard with no knees, Kemba, and I don't feel confident.
That's if Kemba plays.
Yeah, thank you. That too. Phantom knees.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
So I'm gonna predict this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I predict that young, bouncy Memphis team
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be their revenge game against us.
Mm.
And I don't know if y'all remember the game we played them in Memphis last year, where they got 0 calls against us, and their coach Taylor Jenkins had a meltdown. Remember, he had a meltdown at the end of the game.
Oh yeah.
And John Morant got kicked out the game too. Y'all remember that?
Right.
That was in Memphis, right?
Yeah, that was the beginning.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of our 9-game win streak.
Oh, win streak, yes.
Yeah.
And remember at the Garden, And remember at the Garden last year, they blew the game. They were up late.
Yep.
And the Knicks came
Well,
back
it was
and
up
stole a
12.
game. Yeah,
Yep.
the Knicks came back and stole a game. So
Yeah, and so last year we went in their house and we were so physical with them that they complained about foul calls the whole game. Y'all remember that? But then that was the stretch where we beat them, we beat Zion, we beat Luka, we beat a whole bunch of young stars in a row last year because we came in and were just flat out more physical than everybody.
Right.
And I think the chickens may come home to roost in this game.
It's gonna be. This is gonna sound blasphemous, but this time around we ain't got Elf to stick on Ja.
Yeah.
And also, too, keep in mind against Philadelphia, which they lost.
That's a pause moment.
Which in Philadelphia, which they lost, they didn't have Joel Embiid.
Okay.
And Desmond Bain and Morant went off for 37 and 34, but Morant did have 9 turnovers.
Okay.
So it might be a bounce back game for him. Just supporting what you're trying to say here, right? It might be a bounce back game. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody heard
Be
about
aware.
the press conference, but I really like what Ja did, man. Like he was like, "Yo, I had 9 turnovers. I missed all these free throws. I did this and I did that. Put this loss on me." And for a kid to be that young, man, and we can't get that from 28-year-old Julius Randle.
We can get that from RJ, man.
That sucks, man. Like a kid, he's so young and he does
get it
that.
from our third pick, though.
You ain't gonna want to go to fight for that kid, bro. If he's doing that for that team, man. Come on, man. You got me hyped saying that stuff. And we can't get that from 28-year-old Julius Randle, yo. That sucks.
We get
man.
it from our third round pick, though, Eddie.
I guess, but
faces the
yo,
media.
so then
It's tough for
RJ go
media
for
out here.
30, dog. Go for 30. Get 10 boards. Get 7 assists. Get 8 turnovers. I don't care.
So we're talking about the Memphis game, right? So with the Memphis game, man, we want to make sure that when we come out, we match their energy. Because last night against Sacramento we came out flat, but Sacramento came out flatter.
Right.
You could tell that
Yeah, if it wasn't for Evan Fournier in that first quarter, who knows what would have happened?
No,
It's gonna be personal when we go there. When we go to Sacramento, it's gonna be personal. Just know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I love when they say
probably
he's in his baguette. That shit just makes me laugh. He's in his baguette.
It's yeah, man. So what D Poetic has asked, I don't think this is gonna be a 15-point game. I think that Memphis is gonna come in with the mindset that they're gonna beat the brakes off the Knicks.
Oh wow!
And I think the Knicks are gonna come out with the mindset that this could go one or two ways. You know what I'm saying? If things spark, we can beat them. But if it don't look like we can beat them, we're gonna lay all the way down, like against the Bucks. You know what I'm saying?
Keep in mind too, that's a nationally televised game too on ESPN.
Here we go.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't play well in those this year. Question though.
No. Randall doesn't play well. There's a difference.
Oh God, come on, guys. So the question I have is, with RJ playing downhill the way he is recently, really changes things. But if RJ runs into some opposition at the rim, not gonna be a good night for him like last night. Question: how is Memphis and Garden around the rim?
They have Steven Adams.
I got you right now. I'll show you.
Jaren Jackson
and JJ.
Steven Adams. Right.
Yeah.
And Xavier Tillman.
I think Tillman, and they got Ryan Clark, whatever his name is, Brian.
Well, good perception there, Gi.
Yeah,
good perception there, Gi. Because they are number 1 in the league in blocks per game and blocks percentage.
RJ can forget it.
Yeah,
and they're also first in the league in steals per game and steals per play.
Oh, we're getting blown out. RJ is gonna have.
Expect Taj to play 48 minutes.
We're gonna need that RJ.
You can't say that because Memphis has a hard time scoring, even though they have Ja. They don't score that many points. Like for me, when I watch them play, I don't care what the numbers say. I don't feel like they score enough points that they can run away from you. Like if they're gonna beat you, they're gonna outgrind you, kind of like Miami does.
And keep in mind too.
Yeah.
We talk about Lionel Hollins days.
Yeah, great grind.
But now also keep in mind too, is that the backcourt consists of John Morant and Desmond Bain now.
Yeah, he starts.
Not Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more firepower,
he's
and
out.
I'm very concerned about Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. He's just injured. He'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he sprained his ankle.
Yeah, he's had a lot of
Brooks is
injuries
not
this
a bad
season.
player. Like they got a lot of pieces because he's
Oh
a
no,
good
Dylan
player,
Brooks is a
bro.
very good player.
He's a dog on defense. He can shoot the ball. He
Oh
has
yeah.
he has a little game into the. I like those Oregon players. Players that come from Oregon, they're pretty good, man.
And keep in mind too, because he's been out, right? Zaire Williams is playing a plethora of minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's had some good
He ain't
games.
really
He's
been
had some
doing
bad
much,
games.
but he has good games. Yeah.
Yeah, he's had some good. Yeah, so I mean, that's the way of a rookie,
and down,
right?
up
For
and
most
down.
rookies,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying. But I mean, he had a bad game yesterday. He shot 3 of 10 over 6, right? But he still
And I
had
like him
8
too.
points. He still had 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. So, and he was a +7 with the team. So, I mean, it's still productive.
He contributed. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the starting small forward for them.
As of right now, because Dylan Brooks is out.
Because Dylan Brooks out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So he'll be
So-
guarding RJ.
Yeah, I would figure that.
More than likely.
And RJ better take advantage of that. Like
Probably
Yeah,
gonna have
I think Desmond Bain might guard RJ.
probably
Just because
That's possible.
Just
Stronger.
because they're similar size. Yeah.
Better defender. He's better.
Yeah.
Well, he's a way better defender than.
I put
Yeah,
Clark
and-
on him,
and-
but you know. instead
But
of
you
Bain.
never know.
Whoever
Plus, you
guard
never-
Randall gonna give him. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. Go ahead.
I was gonna say whoever. You never know what you're gonna get from Evan Fournier. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You got if I'm Taylor Jenkins, I gotta see Evan Fournier hit 3 or 4 shots before I'm starting
Making
to
adjustments.
making defensive adjustments for Evan Fournier. Because Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker legit some games show up and do nothing.
Like yesterday, Kemba didn't do jack. Bro.
Yeah.
But is it funny that when Evan Fournier plays well, we do mostly win those games? Like
We mostly win. Yeah.
He's gonna shoot the
so
lights out.
maybe so I'm just trying to go back to like the free agency. Maybe they're not all wrong about it, but he's just not showing up all the time.
And the other thing too is that Julius Randle better watch his over dribbling. I think they're going to double him early.
Oh
and,
yeah.
and stuff like that. His
Off it
team's
up.
number 1 in the league in steals. You can't be over dribbling around guys that have good hands, especially
Right.
in the lanes.
Yeah, and that go back to what Hinton said too, because they don't score in the half court. Like John Morant is not an elite half court facilitator. You know what I'm saying? John Morant is
More run and gun, right?
yeah.
The highlight reel type guy.
Yeah,
Fast
and,
break,
and,
finishing
and
the
a
fast
very
break.
streaky shooter. Very.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
J.R.
Oh, once
Smith
that becomes
level.
consistent, it's gonna be a problem now. Just know.
Yeah, I would when he has the ball, I would try to back off of him and let him shoot threes because he's like one of the top scorers in the paint. So
Yeah.
Right.
you gotta back
Correct.
off of him.
You mean like how they used to do Gary Payton? Remember Gary Payton?
Mm-hmm.
Like you would get back off Gary Payton and give him 10 feet of room
Yeah.
to shoot because he can
Kind of
score
how they
in
do
the
Westbrook.
paint. Yeah, he can
I was
score.
about
yeah.
to say Westbrook.
Yeah, well, him too.
And I mean, keep in mind, Ja, with all that, he's still shooting 35.5% from 3 on 4.5 attempts this year.
Yeah.
So it is formidable, and he did go up 5 to 6 percentage points from last season.
Yeah, I would let
And
him shoot 10 threes if I could. Shoot 10. Like prove it.
You know what's crazy about him too, for you advanced analytic guys? He has some limitations in his game, especially sometimes he has a tough time finishing in traffic, and he doesn't make the right decisions. And his shooting has been streaky. I will agree with that. His box BPM is still a 6.0 at 6'1", bro. That is ridiculous, bro. His impact on the basketball court.
Yeah. And that's because he can break down the defense and get in the paint.
Yeah. And any bad pass, this dude can. Man, listen, man. This dude is. So, but you know what? I think I might do the same thing to RJ Barrett though.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might give RJ Barrett about 8 feet of room to shoot because his shot has been
garbage.
It's falling off throughout the month. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's not in the corner, let him shoot it.
Yeah. So.
And also, this guy's BPM is so high because he's also averaging 6 rebounds at that height and 7 assists.
And that offense must be beautifully ran with the pick and roll from Steven Adams and JJJ on the side shooting the 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he gets probably all that run to the paint. get into the paint, do those dunks, probably kick it out to his power forward. Something that we can't boast about.
Oh, man.
Right. All right. Hey, so guys, I wanna wrap up here, man. I got a couple things that I want to work on, man. Thank you everybody for coming through. Tonight, make sure you check out Knicks After Party. You know what I'm saying? With with
check that
Ellie.
out, y'all. My bad.
The
host. It goes like you.
Great show today,
Check
guys.
that
Thanks
out,
for
man.
having me.
Yes, thank you, Freezy.
Next therapy, man. Next therapy.
We appreciate the conversation, man. I know we got sidetracked a little bit, but I'll promise to try to do better tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I want to touch back on the front office and how they're maybe too many voices being bandied about in the front office, and that we need to get a stone cold decision maker. Because us just talking about a soft tank just lets everybody know that the front office is doing whatever. But thank you again, everybody, for coming through.
Yep. Thank you for having us.
We'll be
Thanks,
here
Breezy.
tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody.
And we will see y'all tomorrow.